All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 52 featuring Kez. Kez, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for dedicating time for this. What's up?
Annyeong, annyeong. How is everyone doing?
Hope you guys are doing well, chat. I'm doing good myself. Thanks for asking. And folks, on the top right, you can see the panel. On the bottom right, you can see the Instagram handles for both of us. Feel free to drop follows if you haven't already. There are two special commands for these podcasts. The first one is !podcast. In short, it's a way for me to get to know my friends on a more personal level, especially on Twitch. We get to hear about their life experiences. So Kez will be here today talking about her life. And secondly, we have !guest, which is a direct link to Kez's Twitch channel. A fellow streamer, you guys could drop a follow. And yeah, just make new friends, guys. So, let's get to it. And we'll
Awesome.
start things off with... Give us a brief introduction about yourself and include some of your hobbies and interests.
So elevator speech. Okay. Well, hi everybody. My name is Kez, or known as Kush, but you can call me Kez. I'm a graphic designer, and I'm currently living in the Philippines, but I'm actually Indonesian. I'm not Filipino. I went to school here, and I've been living here for almost 8 years now. And my hobbies, I like to play badminton a lot, and I used to play a lot of frisbees. And other than that, I love and enjoy cooking. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That's a lot. How would you describe your own personality?
Um, my personality, I'm shy but loud. I'm so shy. I'm a very shy person, but I'm also very loud and very random.
Okay, so if we're talking about being either an introvert or an extrovert, which side would you lean towards?
I'm extroverted introvert. I think I'm more like an ambivert. Like I'm not really. I know I'm more towards introverted, but I enjoy like having like social. I'm like sociable introverted, if that makes sense.
For sure, okay. So let's talk about the early days in your life, your childhood. Give us an overview of what you've been through your entire life, and then I'll ask you very specific questions based on what you say.
Ooh, my childhood. Well, I grew up. I spent most of my life. Well, half of my life is in Indonesia, and then I moved here when I was 13. I think 13 or 12. I moved here to Philippines to continue like high school and stuff. But for the most part, my childhood includes a lot of ocean. Because my mom is a marine biologist, so usually during like breaks, like winter break or summer break, we would go to like my grandma's province, and then we would just do snorkeling, a lot of like island hopping, basically anything that like an islander would do.
That is pretty sick. Island hopping. Okay, so you said that was your mom, right? Marine biologist?
Yes.
And based on the areas you lived in, so why specifically the Philippines for school?
To be honest, what happened was that a lot of people from my church send their kids to here in the Philippines. So like at first I actually did not want to go, but my brother went first because he finished like, so in Indonesia we have like this thing called K to 12 where like our education like starts like, elementary 1 to 6, and then junior high school 7 to 9 type thing. So like high school, which is basically 10 to 12, he moved here, and then I was supposed to move when I was on 8th grade, but I didn't want to because I just have like a year left for like junior high school, might as well just finish, right?
Mhm.
So there's that, and then I moved here because of my brother at first, because like I'm very close with my siblings. Well, I used to, but then like now we're grown up, and then like we just kind of have our own thing and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's how I moved here, and then I was offered to go to California for college, but I did not take it because I was very young when I started college. I started college when I was 15. So, like
Wow.
at that time, I did not want to be so far from home. Like being like cuz a little bit backtrack, like I did my high school for only a year.
Mhm.
So like I thought that like after that I can just like go home and stuff like that. But I did not have the freedom to do that. So literally after high school, I just went to college straight away, and I did not have the time to um like take a break from school and stuff like that. Because they have like a summer school thing in here. So there's that. And then like I was offered to move to the States, but I didn't want to be far from home because like 1 year being away from home, even though it's like literally just like a couple islands away, it still feels so lonely and far.
Mhm.
That's why I didn't wanna, like, move to the States at first.
Yeah. Wow, okay. So talk about your relationship with your parents and siblings from before versus now. I know you mentioned that you guys are doing your own thing, but specific relationships.
Specific relationship, well, me and my brother live with my mom now because my parents divorced when we're in, like, when I was in 4th grade, yeah, so we live with my mom, family. It's me, my mom, my brother, and my aunt. And then, yeah, I could say that my family really close, but we don't talk with like from my dad's side and stuff like that
Mhm.
because we just choose not to. But I could say like we're pretty close. But right now, like me and my siblings are like a year apart. We kind of do our own thing, but we still like I would say we're pretty close. It's just that you know how like when you don't want to see your sibling around you, but at the same time, like you still love them type thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like that with my brother. Like you do your own thing, I do my own thing, but then like at the same time, like I got your back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so how would you describe the difference between the places you lived in? So from like Indonesia and the Philippines.
Ooh, well, to be honest, when I was back home, I would always be moving around because of my mom's job.
Mhm.
But I love home. There's no place better than home. But yeah, I think I love living in Indonesia better as much as like I love the freedom that I get here in the Philippines. But I just love Indo.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How
like, I
would you
think
describe the people?
the people, to be honest, they're pretty similar. But because I grew up in the capital, I grew up in Jakarta, so a lot of things are like very fast paced. I think that's the difference that that I experienced. Like when you grow up in a city, like everyone is like very industrial. You have to like move really quick, and then like everything's so fast paced. But like in here, the moment I moved here to the Philippines, like everything is so relaxed and chill.
Mhm.
Which is it's like there's a pros and cons. Like the pros is like, okay, I get to like take time to like enjoy stuff still, but at the same time, like I'm gonna be like too comfortable to the point that like I get to like procrastinate stuff, which I shouldn't. So
Mhm.
I think that's another thing that like the only different. But yeah, but it's really cool in here. Like I love the provincial life, to be honest. To be far away from city is actually very relaxing.
Yeah. And how about like the weather for both areas?
The weather, when I was back home, my apartment is like 20 minutes away from the bay, so it's It's pretty tropical. Like Southeast Asia is like a very tropical countries, right? So like back home, it would be like very hot, but at the same time, like I can still like have that a bay breeze type thing. But in here is literally either it's really hot and humid, or you get the typhoon season, which is like
Oof.
extremely cold for no reason. Which what I'm having right now. It's actually raining right now and really windy right now.
Yeah. Speaking a little bit about that, like, how do you prepare for like typhoons? Are you afraid?
No, but funny story. My first typhoon in the Philippines,
Mm.
I was watching a soccer game. And I was literally watching the ball literally fly away from the court, not the court, fly away from the
Field.
field.
Uh-huh.
It was really sunny that day, but out of nowhere, it started to get windy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of like the biggest typhoon that ever happened. It's called Typhoon Glenda or something like that. And then I was literally just came out of school um with my friends, and then we were like, because they had a soccer practice, so me and my friend was like saying, okay, we're gonna watch you guys play. And
Yeah.
then like after that, out of nowhere, it just started heavy raining, and then like it was really windy, and we didn't have umbrella at that time, so we walked to where I was staying because I was staying with a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't stay in the dorm when I moved here. So like I went there and then I told them that like, oh, I'm gonna stay over at my friend's dorm. So when I went there, mind you, this is my first typhoon. And
Yeah.
I'm the type of kid that like very adventurous, and I don't get scared that easy, except if it's like like reptiles and stuff like that. But like this is my first typhoon and I thought it was really cool. But at the same time it's really sad. Like, I think at that night, the same night that happened, one of the guys' dorm, um, I think the dean's quarter got caught on fire. And
Mm-hmm.
then everyone was just like, oh my God, like, there's like heavy wind. The fire probably could spread and whatnot, right? So, like, all the girls are like very scared and stuff like that. Like, we could actually like see the fire from my friend's dorm, like the fire that was
Oof.
set on like the guy's dorm.
Yeah.
And then good thing though, thank God that like after a couple hours, like they managed to like put the fire down and stuff like that. And then like throughout the night, you can just hear like cuz in my campus on my college, there's a lot of trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's very green. And that night, that very same day, you can just hear like tree branches like smacking the windows and stuff like that. And then I think the next morning, like around 6 a.m. or something, so in front of like my friend's dorm, there's like this little thing called kubo. So in like Tagalog means like kubo is like a small eatery, or like it's like a small shelter type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it has like a eatery and stuff, right? And then like I think at 6 a.m. we just saw like the roof was like flying across the door, and then I thought it was cool, but at the same time, like, whoa, I'm like experiencing like it's not really death or life type of experience, but at the same time, like it's really dangerous. Like
Yeah.
imagine if that like goes in like the room and stuff like that. But at the same time, I thought it was really cool. So that was my first typhoon experience. Other than that, the only thing that sucks though is that we sometimes we didn't have water for like a couple days, and then same with electricity and stuff like that. That's like the only thing that sucks. But so far, I haven't really had the experience where all the area got wrecked and stuff like that. I mean, that typhoon did wreck a lot of things,
Yeah.
but not to the point where like as in recent typhoon that just happened that like wiped all the coast. But yeah, I was really thankful that that never happened, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Sheesh. Okay. And other than that, is like what are the common languages from in
Common
Indonesia
languages.
and in the Philippines?
Well, to be honest, Tagalog and Bahasa Indonesia is not that far off.
Okay.
Like we have a similar words, but it's just the way they say it is very like intonational type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's kind of like Mandarin. You know how like in Mandarin you have like intonation type thing. It's kind of like that with Tagalog. At least for me, in my opinion, like
Yeah.
that's how like in Tagalog and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of like so in Bahasa Indonesia you don't really have verb, but in here they have a verb and tenses. I mean we do have verb. I mean like no, there's no tense.
Mhm.
Like but in here like when you speak Tagalog, there's like past tense, present tense, future tense, and stuff like that. It's basically like English, but Tagalog.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it was really easy for me to pick it up
Mhm.
because of the similarity words and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't really have hard time to like learn the language.
So you know like at least 3 languages?
At least, yeah. At least 3 languages.
Does everyone know how to speak English? Is that like taught there?
Yeah. Majority because like Philippines was colonized by America and Spain, right? So majority like everyone speaks English in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the words are mixed with Spanish word as well.
Oh, okay. And that's the same for Indonesia too?
No, for Indonesia, we're kind of similar to Malaysia. Cause some of our word is like origin from like Bahasa Melayu, and then we have like different dialects too. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of like Southeast Asian country have like different dialects in different provinces. But some of our words are actually influenced by the Dutch because we're colonized by the Dutch.
I see. Okay, that was like some background history. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No problem. No problem.
Okay, so going back to like family matters.
Hmm.
So how did your family handle discipline whenever you acted out or something?
Oh, it's kind of tough because
Mm.
like my mom and my dad, they're both half Indonesian and half Chinese, and they both got the strict parents
Yeah.
of both strict Chinese parents and both strict Indonesian parents. So that kind of passed down to me and my brother. So if we did something stupid or like if we do something that like my mom told us to not to do,
Mm-hmm.
it's either we choose if it's a clothes hanger, a belt, or a broom. So it's
Oh.
either that. But like yeah, I remember one time, this is kind of stupid though. Like one time, my dad used to have like people over to like cut hairs and stuff like that, right, to our house. And then one time I think he forgets to like bring what is it called that? His equipment back inside. And then it was kind of like on top of the ledge, like in our porch type thing. So I grabbed it and I was like really curious. As a child, like until now, I'm a very curious person. And then like I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what's a shaver at that time. I think
Mm-hmm.
I was like 5 or 6 at that time. And then like I was like, "Oh, what is this? This looks really cool." And
Mm-hmm.
then like I asked the person who was taking care of me, and then she was like saying, "Oh, that's a shaver, right? Don't touch that. Don't play with it. Like that's for cutting hair, and you shouldn't touch it, right? Because your parents gonna get mad." My dumbass
Uh-huh.
literally go to my brother and like ask him, "You want to try it?" I was like, "Can I cut your hair?" So I literally like shave half of his head off. And then like we both thought it was really cool. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that to myself. So I did it. I did a
Mm-hmm.
Skrillex cut on myself. Like literally my hair at that time was like as long as my I think it goes to up to my hips. And then I
Wow.
literally had a Skrillex cut for like I think a month or something like that. And then that night, the same night, my mom knows whenever she comes home, I'll still be awake. Or like I'll be awake when she comes home. That one night I chose to like sleep not facing the wall. I faced the door, and then it was so obvious that I was trying to play it out to like fake sleeping. And then my mom was trying to like move me because every time she comes home, she would move me to her room. And then yeah, like after that, she keeps like trying to move me, but like I was so persistent to like put all my body weight to my bed. And then my mom noticed that there's something wrong because like my brother's head was bald. Like at the same day, like he got a like a reset, right? Because of that because of that cut. And then like she noticed that there's something wrong. And then like the moment she moved my head and she saw the cut, I kid you not, that was the night that I cried the most as a child because I got spanked so hard with a belt and I got yelled at my mom because like my hair was really, really nice as a child. And then like my mom was like, "Why'd you do this?" and blah da 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 da. And then like yeah, that was probably one of the day that I was so terrified at my mom. But
Oof.
yeah, my parents are really strict.
Oof. What an example.
But I like now I think now my mom is kind of like, oh, she's like mature enough to know what's good, what's bad, and
Mhm.
even if like I do something dumb, like she'll still yell at me and stuff like that. But she the type of kind that like, okay, you learn from it. If you don't learn from it, then like, okay.
Mhm.
But yeah.
All right. And so you mentioned that your parents divorced when you were like in the fourth grade. Back then, did you have like a good understanding of what was going on, and how did you kind of get through it?
I honestly did not have like any understanding of like divorce and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because like as a kid, right? Like, well, what does a fourth grader do? Like, you just go to school, learn and play with kids, right? So all I could think about is that because we have to move, and I was so persistent that I did not want to move. I did not want to move. And because like I love my friends and like I was so comfortable and then like all I could think about, damn man, there's nobody that's gonna like trade Hot Wheels with me. There's like no one to like go to lunch with and I have to make new friends and stuff like that. That's like the only thing that I was thinking about that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then like to be honest though, it was really hard. At first it was really hard because like I'm leaving a lot of people that I've befriended with for like the longest time. And then when I first moved with my when we moved in with my aunt, which that was I think that was when I was like fifth grade,
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to commute to school. That was the first time I learned how to commute and use public transportation
Yeah.
and learn how to cook. And that's how I fell in love with cooking when I was in fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like moving, it was really hard because like everyone is so mean. Literally, when you're the new kid and it's like in the middle of the year of like elementary, everyone was just like, "Who the frick are you?" type thing. Like you're not belong here. Everyone was so mean. For a fifth grader, they're like really mean. But I couldn't care less. Like I don't really care. As long as I go to school, come home, watch my cartoon, eat my favorite food, I'm Gucci.
Yeah, you're set. Okay, so you had to move because of the divorce. Were you able to choose like who to go with, or was it just like planned out already?
It was already planned out. The kids did not like me and my brother did not have anything to say, but if we did have the option to choose, we'll still choose our mom.
I see. Okay. Alrighty, let's talk about school specifically now.
Ooh,
You
school.
talked about it briefly. So, how were you academically throughout your life?
Throughout my life, I'm lazy smart. I
Okay.
could say I think I'm lazy smart. I am the type of person that doesn't try. Like I know I can do it, but I don't try. I don't try hard enough in school. Even though I know that I could get aces, but I don't try. I think I get bored really easy in class. I have this problem like in every school that I've attended to. I would literally go in the middle of lecture, I would go to canteen because I'm hungry. And then like the moment I come back from the canteen, we're already doing sit work and stuff like that, and I'll be the first one to like finish it. And then yeah, like throughout my whole entire academic life, that's like one of the things that like kind of scares me the most. Like I get bored really easy and get distracted really easy in school.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, I think I am academically stable.
Yeah.
I haven't failed any class. I haven't failed any class, but some of my teacher have assumed that I cheated in class. Because here's the thing. Sometimes I don't like going to class, right? Or I go in like really late. Sometimes like they will catch me sleep in class. And then out of nowhere, whenever there's a test or like exams, like I will get like one of the highest score. And then they will call me out like after class, like, hey, can you retake the test? I was like, why? I already did it. And then they were just like thinking like this doesn't make sense. So like why is your score like really high? You barely like go to class and stuff like that. Or like you barely like your attendance, like you come in really late and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't even listen in class. And I'm like, I studied. And then like they keep like insisting like, oh yeah, but still like can you take the test again? And then I was like, I bet. And then I sit down. Literally, it was just me in the class with the teacher. And then like I put my phone in front of me and I put my bag right in front of me. So like they would think that like, okay, this kid like there's no way that this kid would gonna cheat
Hmm.
and the type thing. And then, like I don't wear skirts to class. Like I have to wear skirts. Like we have a uniform, but sometimes I go with like my joggers and stuff. So there's no way that even if I like ride on my thigh, there's no way I could cheat off that. But yeah, I think that's the only thing that like my teacher will like have problem. But other than that, major wise, because I took art, the only time that I had a problem is that some of my professors are very the way they critique our plates. So in arts, plates is like your artworks,
Hmm.
right? So the way they critiques our plates is based off their preferences. That's like the only time that like I would have like a hard time figure out like what to do in my major classes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so that's how you performed academically. For sports, you mentioned badminton and frisbee, right?
Yes.
Yes, let's talk about your experiences with those, how you decided to get into those sports, and what you've done.
For badminton, I've always played since back home. And actually when I was in 7th grade, 8th grade, when I was in elementary, I went to a tourney for track and field, same as 7th and 8th grade. And then I think when I was on my last year of junior high school, I went for a tourney for floorball. It's like hockey, but with like a ball, a small ball. It's like a street hockey, but instead of a hockey puck, you have a like a small thing,
Yeah.
small ball. And then when I moved here, I still pick up like badmintons, and then turns out they have frisbee and basketball. Basketball is so huge in the Philippines. Like
Mhm.
it's basketball and volleyball, but I have no strength to like play either of that game. But surprisingly, when I get to college, I think my 3rd and 4th year, I played for my college basketball, women's basketball, and I was playing badminton for my college as well. It's actually really fun. I grew up playing badminton, so I guess that's like one of the sports that like I always have like special place for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How good were you individually, and what's like your favorite memory
Ooh.
for each of the
How
sports?
good?
Yeah.
I think for frisbee, I think I'm very good. I think I'm decent when it comes to flicking it. The only problem is that I don't run. I hate running. But
Okay.
I love throwing it.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like flicking and range, I think I'm okay. And like my reflexes are actually not bad, to be honest. But I just hate running. I have the same problem with like badminton. I have a hard time to like catching, but like since when you play badminton, right, you just kind of like one step, two step type thing.
Hmm.
So you don't have to like run like I mean you still have to run, but then like it's not like across the whole field type thing. But yeah.
Let's see. Well, for basketball, what type of player were you?
I don't know. I don't even know what position I was. I was literally if I'm free, pass me the ball, I'll try to shoot it.
Uh, okay.
The reason why I ended up playing basketball, this gonna sound really stupid, but if you guys know Kuroko no Basuke, the
Mm-hmm.
Kuroko anime,
Yes.
that anime made me want to play basketball.
What?
Like actually.
Uh-huh.
The anime made me want to play basketball, and then, like, I think, at the same time I was watching that, my school was having a sport fest, and then they were looking for players. I'm like, "Basketball is not gonna be that hard, right? I mean, I have the height, I can run." So, like, I was like, "Alright, Imma sign up."
Yeah.
So, like, that's literally the reason why I play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Yeah, I should probably, like, do something for my last year in college besides, like, badminton." But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what would you say is like your favorite memory or the one that stands out the most for your sports?
I think the day so in my school, College of Nursing is known for like their basketball games. Like they're like one of the top tier colleges when it comes to sports. Like they will always get all the points. And I think my favorite memory is that the one time we beat them by a lot. Because they were missing players. Even though, well, they didn't really miss players. We were under player. Like we literally have a set of 6 people. So our sub is just one person,
Yeah.
and they have like a set of like maybe like eight to 10 people, and we still beat them. So that's probably one of like the top tier favorite memories that I
Hmm.
ever had in like my sport fest. Yeah. I think
Nice.
when it comes to
Okay.
sports, it's that. And then Frisbee Friday, when like every Friday before sundown, we would just like play Frisbee the whole day.
Hmm. So, are you still involved with sports like today?
Not so much, but I've been trying to get back to working out
Yeah.
and trying to get some gains. But not really. When it comes to sports, there's really no one that I could play with because everyone already fly home. And then I'm just here waiting for my brother to finish his college.
Oh, okay. Wait, you're waiting for him, so you're done?
Yeah, I graduated in 2020.
Okay. Nice. Congrats.
Thank you,
You just
thank you.
you're just living there. Got it. Other
Pretty
than that,
much.
were you also involved in other sorts of clubs and activities throughout your school years?
Throughout the school years, I was actually one of the coordinator and event planner for this thing called International Student Association. So it's like a student government, but we mostly focusing on like the international students well-being, and then like just kind of like make activities to make it fun for them because like everyone is far from home, right? All the international students came from like miles and oceans away from like their homes. So we're the organization that wants to make it fun for them while they're in college, like their college experience. So I was happy that I was part of that. I was the event planner. I joined the yearbook club in my last year, so I was the photographer for my college or for my university as well. And we also have this thing called Indonesian like students fellowship and whatnot. So basically, it's kind of like it's the same concept as the International Student Association one, but it's focusing on the Indonesian students. So we're like the people that they go to if they have like problems with their visa or if they have like to go to embassy and stuff like that. We're like the people that provide the informations and stuff. So I
Okay.
was part of their media marketing,
hmm Was
but it
there?
was very hectic.
Oh, was it?
It was because it was on my last year college, and I think it was third and fourth year college. So my last 2 years of my college
hmm
that I decided to like join clubs. But yeah.
Okay. So, with that being said, what would you say your high school stereotype was? What were you known as back then to people?
The girl who colors her hair every single month until now. Until now, because when I was in college, so we're not supposed to have colored hair, but I was the rebel one.
hmm
I would come to school with at first it was ombre. I had a blonde ombre. And then I think my second year I started playing around with red. And then from there it just goes purple, pink, blue, silver, and then everyone was just like, damn bro, every single time I see you, you're with a different hair. So I think that's something that like people knows me for, like the girl with different hair. Or
Yeah.
like the artsy Indonesian one.
hmm
But yeah.
So, what actually like motivated you, or what triggered to make you want to dye your hair and just go crazy with colors?
Um, to be honest, I don't know. I think part of it will be anime, I would say, but at the same time, also YouTubers. Like I would watch like vlogs and stuff like that, and then like the girls that I was watching, I couldn't remember who their name was, but they're like dyeing their hair, and then I grew up listening and watching a lot of K-pops.
hmm
So like I thought it was really cool to have their hair like change like every single music video. So I'm like, bruh, I want that hair on
hmm
my head. So like that's when I started like experimenting and stuff.
Yeah. So you do it all by yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
Never in my life I go to the salon. Actually, no, that's a lie. I only had it once done professionally.
hmm
But throughout the whole process, it was always me. I bleach it, um, color it, condition, and all that stuff myself.
Okay. So, more of a sensitive school topic. I know you mentioned that kids were mean. When you
Mhm,
transition, especially like what in the fifth grade or something. So,
mhm.
would you say you've ever encountered bullying?
Definitely yes.
Okay, talk about your experiences with that and how you basically put up with it.
To be honest, I always have this mindset because my parents always put this to me that like if someone bullies you in school, that means they're just jealous of you, and they want to have your life, and that they just want to ruin your happiness. That's why they're bullied. So I always have that thought, even though like it's kind of hard to like take it in. Like I still get like hurt when like what is it called? If people like being mean to me and stuff like that. But it actually helps me to have a thicker skin, tougher
hmm
skin. Back home, so like when people call out your parents' name, that's very insulting. And like they would call my mom's name and stuff like that. And then like my response when I had enough of it, I was like, yeah, what about it? My mom's cool. She's a marine biologist. I get to see sharks. Not like you. You stay at your home. What are you gonna do? You can't see sharks. So that's my comeback. I was like, I always like talk back to them. Yeah, what about it? Like my mom's cool. What about it?
Yeah.
Well, like every time they like would say that and like call me names, I mean, obviously I'm still hurt about it, but at the same time, I would always clap back. That's something that I'm proud of myself. At
Mhm.
first, I didn't want to like, I didn't want to get in trouble. I'm the type of person that like, if someone says something mean to me, I rather just like cry it out and forget about it. But then I think towards my last year in that school, that's when I'm like, bro, I gotta do something. I gotta stand up for myself. So I did that. And then I moved to another school on 7th grade to 9th grade. Every girl, there's literally 15 people in my class throughout 7th to 9th grade. But the girls are so mean. Like they're like mean girls times two. Like they're just so mean. Cause I went to private school my whole life. Um it's not by choice. I don't have the saying. But yeah, like the girls are so mean for no freaking reason. Because when you go to school in the city, right? It's kind of like what you've seen in movies kind of sort of, but like if you go to school in the big cities, like a lot of people are like expecting you to be rich or like expecting you to have like a lot of stuff and whatnot, right? And they're very mean about it. I don't know
Mhm.
why. They like to just show off their wealth and stuff. I mean, it's cool, whatever, right? But the only thing that I don't like the most is that I love sports, and it sucks when it's PE because everyone would just like, "Oh my god, I don't want to touch that. That's dirty." Like, "Oh my god." Like, mind you, this is like 7th and 8th grade. If I see a 7th or 8th grade that does that right now, I would not slap a kid. But like I would probably be like, "Bro, shut up." But then like at that time, literally, my mind is just like, "I just wanna pass the class, like, come on, man, I just wanna get my grades."
Mhm.
But, yeah, they will literally, like, be like, "Oh my god, ew, that's disgusting. Like, I don't wanna go to PE, I don't wanna sweat." And then I'm just like, "Bro, it's literally PE, what do you expect from that?" But other than that, I used to cry a lot. Like, my principal, I think 3 times my principal, like, caught me crying in the bathroom. Um, and then, like, they're asking me, like, "Oh, are you so mean?" and stuff like, "Why are you crying?" and stuff like that, and I told them they're like, "Oh, the girls in the class are really being real mean, and I just could not handle it anymore."
Mhm.
And then some teachers would talk to them, and right afterwards, um, they'll be like, "Okay," and stuff like that, but they're still doing it. So I'm like, "This pointless." So my goal since that day is that, you know what? They can do whatever. They can bully me. They can talk shit about me. I would not care. I'm just gonna do my own thing. Oh yeah. From then I'm like the most carefree person.
Yeah. So this started when you were young. Did it eventually stop for you since you stopped caring?
Yeah, like yeah, I think so. And then now some of them are like trying to be friends with me and stuff. But then I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, we go to school together, but I don't think I'll consider you as my close friends or someone that I know deeply and care about type thing.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Got it. And other than bullying specifically, have you ever found yourself in a fight, physical altercation?
On a fight, I would say yes and no. It wasn't really a fight. It was like really small. It was like back in like 3rd grade, but it was really, really dumb. So like we have like a cleaning schedule type thing. And then this girl literally walks in with like her muddy shoes and she sees me like mopping the floor. And then she didn't even do the thing in like the doormat. She literally just walked in with like her muddy shoes. And then I told her like, "Hey, can you like not do that? Like I'm trying to clean this." And then she just like keep doing it. So I pushed her, and then at that time, I was one of the person who's in charge for like medical and stuff like that, medical kit, like first aid. So what the teacher made me to do for me to apologize to her is just like take care of her and stuff. But like, yeah, I think that's about it. Other
Mhm.
than that, I've never really like get into fights. I was a really good student, guys.
So you pushed her, and you had to take care of her right after.
Yeah,
Mm.
like I think that's about it. I mean, it's not really a hard push type thing. It's just kind of like, oh, bro, like come on. I guess it kind of like hurt her a little. Like kind of like I think her shoulder hits the wall or something like that, or like the
Uh,
door
yeah.
next to the wall. But it's not like major thing. It's just like a little petty fights.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I see. All right. Other than all of that, have you ever sustained a severe injury in your life?
Yes.
Right.
When I went to tourneys. The first time, I didn't really broke my ankle. I sprained my ankle because I think 2 days before I went for my track and field tourneys, I climbed a mango tree. I
Mm.
climbed a mango tree, and then there's
Huh?
a lot of ants, and then they started biting me, and then I
Ooh.
lost the grip, and then I fell down, and then I landed wrong. So after that, I didn't get to go to tourneys. Oh, actually, I was almost drowned when I was a kid, and I was like second grade. This is really funny though. I thought it was really stupid, um, because we were kids, me and my brother have a swimming lesson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, he's the most athletic one, so he picked it up really fast, and he could swim in like the deeper pool. And then one time, my family decided to go to this new mall, and they just opened a new water park, and we were with my cousins and my aunties and stuff. And so we went to that water park, right? And then they have this wave pool. So it's like a fake wave, and then it just like kind of it's like an infinity pool. It's not really infinity pool. It just like goes around the water park.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw my brother and my cousins, they were playing sharks in the wave pool. And I didn't think that it was gonna be that deep, right? And I have this mentality that like if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
But mind you, I was not a great swimmer. And I was like second grade. I was really tiny. And then like so I jumped in without thinking that like it's actually really deep. And then like the waves is like really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I know, I woke up in an ER.
My gosh.
I woke up in an ER with my mom and the lifeguard. And then, yeah, after that, I think to pass that trauma, my mom literally threw me in the ocean. But I'm still so scared to like be in a deep water. But I love the ocean. I still love the ocean. I just don't like swimming in the pool. And my other injury would be from my floorball tourney. So I was trying to like set a goal, but the opponent team, like one of the player bodied me, and I just flew to like the border, and then it hit my back, my lower back, like kind of a little bit below my lumbar. So like it affects me till now. I cannot do heavy stuff. I cannot lift like stuff that's like really too heavy and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
if I go to the gym, I can't really do big weights because it'll hurt my back. And yeah, that's like one thing that like affect me till now.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So I guess you could briefly talk about your experiences with the ocean, other than the drowning incident. But like, what have you seen since you've been around with your mom, like so often?
Oh,
Island hopping, all that.
it's so fun. It's so fun. Like when you live in a tropical island, even if it's December, you don't get snow, right? But you get the sun and you get the night breeze. Like night breeze in December in an ocean, yo, is the best thing ever. And then I think my most favorite is that since my mom is a marine biologist, and every time we visit my grandma, she will go with like her other friends
Mm-hmm.
who is stationed in that province. So we always have the access to go to like any beach that we wanted to go, and then they could just like say, "Oh, we're doing something in here." Obviously, they are doing their job, but they're bringing me and my brother
Mhm.
along. And I think my most favorite is that when my mom throw me in the ocean, and then because she was with me, obviously. And then like I forget what's the fish called, but it was just fun. Like it was free snorkeling type thing. And then we get to like reserve like corals and stuff like that. I went to like with my mom teaching the locals on how to like what to fish, like what type of fish that like they can fish and how to not use like traps and stuff. I think that was really cool. Like whenever I get to like be with my mom when she's doing her workshop, I think that's one of like my favorite ocean part. Other than that is that whenever they catch a fish and then we would have like a little bonfire by the shore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds really nice. What would you say is the coolest animal you've seen
The coolest
out there? Yeah,
animal,
or
a
fish,
baby shark.
baby
A baby
shark.
shark. I seen a baby shark. It's the cutest thing ever. It's so cute. I saw it dead and alive.
Oh.
So I was lucky enough that like one of the baby shark gets to like close to the shore, and it was so cute. But then like we thought it was just like a regular fish, and then like we told my mom about it because they saw a shark when like on the way coming to like the shore. And then my mom was just asking me, like, "Oh, did you guys see the shark and stuff like that?" No, but we saw this fish. And then like my mom was like saying like, "Oh, that's probably the babies and stuff." And
Yeah.
then when we went to the, because usually by the ocean they have like a market thing, and I think one of the beach that we went to, they have shark fin and stuff. And then that's like when my mom was like telling us that like yeah, like a lot of people in here like kill sharks for like their livelihood and stuff.
Hmm.
But it shouldn't be like that because like sharks are actually endangered, guys. Do you guys know that? Some of like shark species are actually endangered. That's why like they're being protected.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think other than that would be sea urchin.
Sea
Sea
urchins.
urchins and corals. I remember that I would collect shells every time I go to the beach.
Hmm.
Then I would have a compartment and label it like with the beach name and then like how many shells I could put it in the jar.
Yeah. Okay. And to finish that off, so what else have you learned by just being a part of like your mom's job and as a marine biologist? What could you, I guess, teach us other than what you've already said, like how sharks are endangered?
Hmm. I think just respect the ocean. I think that's something that like my mom have taught me because like a lot of people goes right, everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone goes to the beach for vacations and stuff like that, right? But as a human being, we can be very ignorant at times and then just leave our stuff everywhere. But actually though, when you guys do that, there are other people that pick up after his trash. So like I think something that I would like to share,
Yeah.
I guess, is just to like mind of your belongings and just respect the ocean. But yeah, because they are living things too. Like you don't hurt living things, right?
Okay.
But
All right, let's move on to your work experiences.
work
Yes. So you
experiences.
could start with the very first one and just give us an overview and go from there.
My very first job was a freelance photographer, and this was still when I was still in college. I got at that time I wasn't really pursuing the career, but my friends needed a plus one photographer, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then since then, People just like keep asking me if like I could take photos for them. Majority though, it's because it's still in like college settings. I don't get to go to a lot of events. But if I do, it's very nice being a photographer, guys. Let me tell you that. You get free food, free accommodation, best thing.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, I think freelancing as a photographer would be just like taking scenery photos. But my first real job was actually being a graphic design. It was like my 9 to 5 job, but it was based in the US, so it would be like midnight for me whenever I start my job, and it would end like 7 a.m. It's like graveyard shift
Jeez.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, that workplace was really toxic, and that's when I also figured out that like I am not built for corporate work.
Mm-hmm.
I am not built for that. As much as like fun and then like what is it called? I get to like meet people, I get to learn like social media managing and then like marketing and stuff like that. But the environment is really, really toxic and it really drained me. So I left. And then now I'm working as a freelance graphic designer.
Ah, okay. Freelance. Oh, I actually forgot to ask you this. So backtracking a little bit, how did you decide on the specific college or university that you went to and with the specific field or major?
Funny story. My mom did not want me to take art.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually art was not my first option as well. I was planning to take medical laboratory or nursing. But I am scared of needle. I am scared. I am so scared of a needle until this day. And the only thing is that I don't like lab work. And if I were to take nursing, I think I'm the type of person that very emotionally attached. So I don't think I have the courage to like tell patients what's wrong or like if their family member have to like go through a certain procedures that might cost like their lives and stuff like that. I don't think I have the the how do you say this? I don't have I'm not brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
And I think I would have a lot of emotional mental breakdown, and I do not want to do that. And I thought I could escape that taking art, but no. Every day is like emotional damage.
Uh,
Well, it's not really every day, but it's still really hard actually. Like if anyone ever thought that like taking art is pointless or it's too easy, like you don't have to go to school for art, is wrong. You guys are wrong. Art is actually really hard because you're not just competing to be not really to be the best, but you're also competing to market yourself out there
yeah.
since you're in college.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And it's not like because what I took is fine arts, it's not like a specific major. Because art have like major in photography, major in like graphic design and stuff like that. Mine was visual comms, so it's like basically a mix of everything. I did not have a specific major, and it was really hard to find like what's my actual forte. Because like I'm the type of artist that doesn't like to draw. I know it's like surprising. You probably like think like, what? You're an artist and you don't like to draw? That's not right. Does an artist draw? But like for real, I don't like to draw. I don't like drawing. Like I like doodling and stuff like that, but I think I enjoy doing layouts, graphics, and like editing, like photos and stuff like that. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's like your own personal style right now.
Mhm.
Got it. Layouts, editing, graphics. Well, you mentioned that you're currently like freelance designer, right?
Yes.
So what are the pros and cons for you right now?
The pros is that I get money. The cons, there's no cons to be honest because my schedule is better than my work before.
Hmm.
and that I get to do the things that I enjoy to do without have to worry that like, oh my god, I need to sleep at a certain time, I have to wake up at a certain time, or else like I'm gonna fall asleep throughout the day and miss my work.
Yeah.
Um, but the cons, I think I would say, um, talking between clients because of the time zones different. Like sometimes if I email them today, they will get back to me within like 2 3 days, and then I was already like packed with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the only cons
Yeah.
for now, at least.
Okay. All right. So is that it for the work experiences?
Hmm.
So we're gonna talk about more of the social aspects in your life. Have you ever gone through like a party phase?
Yes and no. I would say I will get invites to go to parties, but I don't party like all the time. It was just like a house party.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really at that time I was illegal because I started college at 15, right? And
Yeah.
then the people that I befriend with, they're like 18 and above. And my first college party, my first house party, I was 15. I did not have fun. I did not have fun at all. Because I still have that mindset where like I just want to do sports, run around the field, do my own thing. And then like parties for me at that time is like, bro, this is so lame. I could use this hour to like play video games or something. And
Yeah.
then like at my first house party, they have PlayStation, but they didn't have a console. And I'm like, bro, how the heck do you have a PlayStation but not have a console? And like I think it's just like a bad experience. Like the party was I didn't have a great time at that time. So I ended up just walking around the complex where the house was, where the party was at. So I was just walking around throughout the night until like we have to leave because at that time I was staying over at a friend's place. I could not get back to campus to my dorm because like it was already like past curfew and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up staying at my friend's house. And yeah, other than that, not really. I've never been to a club. Fun fact, I've never been to a club.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have been to a bar. No, that's a lie. I have. But it's like only this year. Actually, no, last year. Only last year. That was my first bar.
Was that an okay experience?
Yeah, because I like the company. It wasn't bad.
And is like are raves like a big thing there?
No, actually, no. Music festival,
Mm-hmm.
yes. But raves, I wouldn't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, music festival, but not raves.
Okay. So mostly house parties that you've been to. Any like crazy stories or like most notable memory?
Um, I don't know because like I think the only fun part is that when it's after the party, it's not at the party. I think I enjoy having a relaxing social drinking more than a party. Yeah. I don't know why. I just really like a chill vibe. Like I feel like I could go parties and stuff like that, but I'm a grandma.
Mm-hmm.
I like I like a very chill and relaxed environment. So I don't think I would I'm not a really big fan of parties, but if I do get invited to one, then I might go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends. But my favorite would probably just yeah, it's always after party. Like cuz we would make food and I would be like taking care of my friends, make the soup for them, make sure they're not dying the next day and like still capable to go to school. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So speaking of like drinks, right? What was
Mhm.
your first time experience like?
My first time experience, I was really mean.
Uh,
Not really mean. I was just saying stuff without filters. And I never in my life thought I would like say those kind of stuff. I mean, it was really funny because like I've never seen myself drunk, and then the first time I got drunk, it was just like a like when you're being mean to your friend, but it's like a funny, joking way type thing. I was doing that to my friends the whole night, and then that's my first experience of drinking, and I was out for like by one soju. I got drunk over one soju.
Mm-hmm.
Then outside of that, yeah, I think that's it. My first experience of drinking, I think it was on my birthday. And then I decided to like I want to drink because I've never drank when I was in school. The first time I drank, I was already 20 when I turned 21. That's
Mm-hmm.
when I first time drinking. Yeah, because I know that I feel like if I were to start drinking when I was in school, or if I keep going to parties and stuff like that, I'll get really distracted and that I will not focus on school, on finishing school.
Okay, so you talked about your first experience, but what type of drunk would you say you are now?
I make random noises. Like I would literally there's a one time I was just making like a whale noise or like I would literally say emotional damage like for the whole night.
Mm.
And then like I think I'm the type of person when I'm drunk, I'm very honest and I drunk text my friends. But I'm very wholesome when I'm drunk. And then like I feel like if you get a text from me when I'm drunk, um that's probably because I was thinking about you and that I probably miss you. That's literally like every single time. Like after the morning after drinking, I would look at my phone and I was like, "Oh my god, how many text messages did I send to like how many people did I text
Yeah.
that night, right?" And then like when I opened it, it was so wholesome. I was literally telling my friends like, "Oh my god, dude, I'm so proud of you. Like, let me just tell you this that like you're a very awesome person. I'm glad that I meet you and stuff." Blah, 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 blah. Like I could tell you that I'm a very wholesome person. If I think about you when I'm drunk, you'll get that type of messages. I
Mm.
would hype you up. I'll be your hype woman. But yeah.
That's
And
pretty cool.
I'm a munchy drunk. Whenever I drink, I would have I have to have food with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but there's one time though that I drank wine. So we had a barbecue party, right? And then me and my friend was the last one to get picked up. And then our friends already like 3 glasses of wine in. So me and my friend was just like, yo, I guess we should catch up. And then I think by fifth glass of wine, I was already like tipsy. Out of nowhere. Never in my life. I grew up in a family who just pick up like whatever English we hear, and I don't have an accent. But that day, on that barbecue day, I have a British accent, and like I've never talked or like speaking like any British accent except for two words, like banana and bathroom. That's like the only two words that like I would say in the most scuffed British accent. But other than that, I've never spoken or like talked in a British accent. But like I was 5 wine in. And then out of nowhere, I just have a British accent. Like throughout the whole night, I was talking in like in a British accent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got knocked out after one shot of JD. I guess I was just really tired because on the same day of that barbecue, I did not have sleep after my work. So yeah, that's probably why.
Wow, okay. Alright, so with that being said, what would you consider as your favorite alcoholic drink and least favorite?
My favorite is whiskey. I'm a whiskey drinker. My
Okay.
least favorite is rum. My least oh okay, no. Maybe not rum. My least favorite would be Jaeger. I hate that thing. It is too strong. I don't like it. But like whiskey tastes like Christmas and like hugs. But yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Now we will talk about some of your interests. So let's get a top 5 list for movies, and then
Oh, top
shows
5?
and anime.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, on the
That's
spot.
hard. That's hard. Okay, top 5 movie. Love Rosie. That's like my favorite shrimpest movie ever. Um, probably, not probably. Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marvel, just Marvel in general, is that top 5. I don't care how many Marvel movies are already out there. That's like part of the top 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Those 20 movies is already in the top 5. Um, that was already too hot.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, a movie. Shoot, this is hard. This is actually hard. I think Harry Potter the series.
Okay.
Yeah, Harry Potter. And no, shoot, there's two more, huh? Oh, this is actually
Yeah,
hard.
from what you could think of on the spot.
This is actually hard. A movie. Can it be animated movie?
Yeah.
Okay, Ron's. I watched it recently. Ron's is one of them. And then I think for the last one, um, shoot, this is hard. Um, I think this is actually hard. I'm actually thinking, what the heck? Maybe Train to Busan? I'm not a big fan of like thriller, but I guess I could put Train to Busan in one of the top 5 as like thriller.
Okay.
Thriller horror. Yeah, I think that's it for movies. Oh no, 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 no. Maybe not Train to Busan. Now You See Me?
Now you see me?
Yeah. I think they
Mm-hmm.
I think I would put Now You See Me instead of Train to Busan on my top 5.
Okay. Let's do shows now.
Shows NCIS. It's a crime investigation series. NCSI. Um Bones. I like Startup. That was like one of my favorite last year. I know I get into it
Oh,
really late, but like Startup was like one of it.
same, no worries.
And then what else? I don't really watch a lot of shows. I think I watch a lot of animated shows. Other than that, have you seen Amazing Race?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I think Amazing Race could be in one of them, and then the last would be MasterChef.
Okay.
MasterChef.
Now, anime.
Anime. Kuroko has to be one of them.
Let's go. Okay.
Kuroko has to be one of them. Uh, Currently though, like the recent, if we're talking about like recent anime, it will be Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer, One Punch Man, and I think the last one would be One Piece. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think One Piece should be on my top 5. But if we're talking about like the old anime, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Keroro Gunso. It's like Captain Frog. Keroro Gunso. That's what it's called. That's one of my favorite anime. And Hayate the Combat Butler. And then I used to watch a lot of Gundam. Um, Other than that, Slam Dunk
Ooh,
and
okay.
Samurai X, maybe Samurai X or Beelzebub. But yeah.
Okay, how about favorite artist and favorite song?
My favorite artist. I love Nikki. You guys know Nikki? Do you know Nikki
Mm-hmm.
from 88 Rising?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's my favorite. She's my favorite all time. I find her when she was performing for Taylor Swift concert opening in Jakarta. And then I found her on SoundCloud, and then since then I just been following and her like musics and stuff. Other than that, I listen to a lot of K-R&B, not a lot of K-pop so much these days. I think after the year of 21 and Big Bang, like those batch, I think after that batch, I don't listen to a lot of like K-pop. Just start listening to like K-R&B and then like um a lot of lo-fis to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A favorite song though?
Yeah.
I think
Current.
my all-time favorite song, current favorite song. If it's current favorite song, not currently, but I've been listening to a lot of like CL. 'Cause she dropped a new album, Alpha, I think last year. And I've been listening to a lot of like her songs because the reason why, um, she collabed with DPR. I don't know if you guys know who DPR is, but they're like one of labels. They're not really labels. They're like a group of producers and artists in Korea. And DPR Ian actually helped her to or like collab with her to make some of the beats for her songs. That's like one of the reason why I keep listening to it because it was really good.
Yeah.
And but my most all-time favorite song is gonna be "I Like You" by Nicki.
Like You by Nikki. Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Other interests. So you mentioned that you like cooking. What's your favorite thing to cook?
my favorite thing to cook. I just like cooking in general,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to experiment with food. Then like, but my current favorite would be steak. Because I learned
Steak.
how to cook a proper steak. Because my friend, he's from New Zealand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, he cooked the most delicious steak ever. And he's like one of the only person, other than my mom, that could cook close to like my grandma's cooking. Almost like not better than my grandma, but like kind of like my grandma, my mom, and then him. And I like and I learned how to cook steak from him and then like he also taught me how to like make gravies from scratch, but I don't remember how to. I still have to like experiment with that, but I really just like experimenting with like cooking. So I don't really have like favorite stuff to cook. Whatever like there's in the fridge, I would just grab it and then mix match with it.
Mm. Okay.
But yeah.
How about your favorite dish? Just in general, not you really cooking.
Favorite dish would be chow mein. Chow mein or wonton.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, would probably this thing called it's basically just like roasted or barbecued fish, but my grandma made it so good. Like it's like so it's really roasted on the outside, right? But then inside she put like gingers and like filling stuff. So like when you cut it, it's very like spiced up, but it's not the type of spice that like brings you pain,
Mm-hmm.
but it brings you like warmth.
Yeah.
So I think that's my most favorite. Anything that my grandma's cooked, to be honest. But my most favorite is like her fish.
Grandma's cooking. Nice. And lastly, you mentioned the gym. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
a favorite workout, or what do you like to work out the most?
Ab roll. I love doing ab workout.
Nice.
I love doing ab workout. I hate legs.
Hate leg day.
Leg day is so it's terrible. I
Mm-hmm.
have a chicken wing legs. But yeah, I think my most favorite will be ab workout.
All right. Do you want to take a break, or are you good before we move on?
I think I'm good. Do you need to take a break?
I'm okay right now. Probably start
Yeah,
eating.
oh, no problem.
I'll be multitasking.
Alrighty.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into more of the heavier topics.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna start with relationships and heartbreak. Yeah,
Ooh,
so let's start with whatever you consider as
spicy.
your first relationship. Talk about, like, I guess how you met, what went down, and you can move on from there. Only if you're comfortable with it, okay? So you could be as detailed as
Okay.
you want to be.
Alright. It's fine. I talk about like my love life a lot of time in my stream, so I think it's fine.
Okay.
um, my first relationship back in the days. I'm just kidding. But it was I think when I was eighth grade. My school have a sparring with another school, which is like it's not really far from the school that I attend. And I had a crush on one of the guy, but turns out one of my classmates is friends with so like let's say friends A, right? So A friends with like the guys say C. So A is friends with C's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a crush on C. But then my friend is a dumbass. She gave me the number of the friend that she knows. So I ended up texting a random number.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there we just kind of talk, and then he was just saying that like, "Oh, I think you got the wrong number, but I could hook you up with my friend. It's like they're really close." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, that's fine." But turns out, well, over time, I get closer to him even more. At that time, he was already in a relationship, so like, I was like, "Yo, this not worth it. I'm not trying to wreck anything, you know. I'm not trying to like bust in for something." Um, but after that, I think after 2 weeks or a month, I think almost a month after that sparring day, after we started talking, they broke up. Like he and his girlfriend at that time broke up because he just could not take it anymore. But the girl thinks that I barge in.
Ooh.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not it. I barely know this guy. I only met him like once. And that's like when we had the sparring thing. Um, but yeah, like she would say dumb stuff on like her Twitter, talking shit about me and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's not right. And then I ended up I added her on like BBM, like BlackBerry messengers. Um, I added her. I was like, hey, I know that you like don't like me, but please don't get it wrong that like I did not try to like barge in or like ruin your relationship and whatnot. And thank God though that she actually understands, and we ended up becoming friends.
Oh.
We
Okay.
ended up becoming friends. And then like but after that, like obviously like she's still really hurt because that like that's her ex, right? And then it's kind of weird talking to like the person that your ex is like now talking to. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, whatever. And then like she's still really bitter about it, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to like pay mind to it, right? And I ended up dating this guy, and yeah, we lasted for 2 years. I broke up with him like one time because we had a really I honestly did not remember what happened. But we were really young. I think we were like 14, 13 type thing at that day. And then yeah, I broke up with him, and then we continue it again. And then I moved here to the Philippines. And then it didn't work out, so I broke up with him because stuff happened, and then I figured that like it's not worth to. It's not. I'm not. I don't want to say that it's not worth to fight anymore. It's just there's no way for us to like keep it anymore because like he was supposed to move to the same school that I go to, but he ended up go to like the public school back home for high school. So I was like, all right, then that's cool. And then, things change, feelings change. And I was like, let's just break it off. But yeah. But we're still friends. Like we're not close, but then like we're still I guess we're like we don't talk. But whenever I visit home, he would cause I know his family and his family knows mine. And then like we're friends with the same people. So like whenever I'm at home, I'll meet up with my friends and then he will be there type thing. But yeah. But I haven't seen that guy in like forever. Neither like talk to him. That's my first relationship. Um, After that, I didn't really date anybody for like 3 years into college, and yeah, I don't think I dated anybody else. I dated one person in like third year, but I ended up breaking up with him because it got really toxic at that time, right? It wasn't really like I didn't date, but um my best friend, like I have a feeling for my best friend, but I told myself that that's really stupid. Why would I like fall for this guy, right? Like I cannot risk like my friendship with him, and I probably should like stop this. But he took it the wrong way and he wanted a space, so like I guess for us to kind of like reconsider, or like for me to like not like him anymore, I guess.
Hmm.
So we stopped talking, and I think that was one of my biggest heartbreak because like breaking up with best friend, or like not talking to your best friend, it like hurts more than a breakup.
Yeah.
And like at that time, that semester, like I did not talk to my best friend at all. And it was probably one of like the suckiest year of my college. 'Cause I didn't get to talk to my best friend. I didn't get to see him. And I made wrong choices in life. And then ended up meeting this guy, and we're also from same friend group. Um but it didn't work out. We started a relationship when he already moved to the States. And it was really toxic. It's just really, really toxic because he would guilt trip me if I don't spend time with him, if I rather like spend time. I mean, obviously, when you're in a relationship, you rather to like spend time with your significant other, right? But then because of the time zones, when it's like late for you guys, it's like early morning for me. Like my day just started. And obviously, the people that I would see first would be my friends, right? Like I'll still text like um the boyfriend at the time, but I would not, like, dedicated my time throughout the day for him because I have classes and then, like, I have meetings and stuff like that, right? So, like, the only time that I will get to talk to him is, like, when he wakes up. That's, like, a couple hours before I go to sleep type thing, or, like, before I start my day, I will talk to him. But he take it the wrong way that, like, he thinks that I'd rather choose my friends over him. Um, I would definitely in, like, billion years, I would choose my friends. Unless there's a ring. There's a difference. If there's a ring, I would choose you. But, yeah, he took it the wrong way, and then it just, like, over time, it gets really toxic, and he would tell me that, like, he went out and then, like, girls, like, asking him out and stuff like that. Kinda like the stuff, like, kinda like a test and then, like, want to, like, makes you jealous type thing, see if, like, you're gonna get jealous or not. And I didn't buy it, like, I was like, "Okay." Like, whenever he says, like, "Oh, there's a girl, like, asked about my numbers and stuff," and then I would just ask, "Okay, and then what'd you do?" And then he would say that, like, "Oh, sorry, I have a girl," and stuff like that, which is, like, okay, respectful, like, I respected that, but it just keeps going and going and going, and then at that time also, I was really homesick, and I did not want to, like, continue art anymore because of, like, my professor being hella toxic and told me to like change course if like I keep giving like what is it called? Like no good arts and stuff. Basically like talking about like his preferences and stuff. So that actually get me to like my lowest point. Like at that time I almost give up on like taking art or like pursuing arts. And I really, really miss home at that time. So like as a boyfriend, like I also expected you to be my support system as well, right? Like vice versa, like I'll be there for you to be your support system, but I also expected that you're there for me as well to be like my support system. But he didn't give that, and then obviously I run to my friends, my close friends.
Hmm.
Because like before him, there's my friends who like literally been with me throughout my whole entire college life. So he took it wrong way again, and then I ended up telling him that like, "Oh, I can't stay in this relationship anymore." And then he just told me that, like, I never love him, and then I was using him to go to the States. But then I'm like, "Bruh, before I even met you, my biggest dream is to be on New York's Fashion Week. Before I even see your face, my biggest dream is to, like, go to New York, be a model or a photojournalist." And then, like, he was just, like, saying that, like, "Yeah, you're just using me for you to, like, go to the States and whatnot." I was like, "Bro, I don't even need you. I don't need you to go to States," type thing. Um, and then, yeah, I talked to my I didn't get to talk to my best friend at that time because we weren't talking. We're on a talking term that whole semester. So I talked to my other best friend, who's now my boyfriend. Um, but yeah, he was just saying, like, I think you should just like break it off and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, you go to your friends for like advice, right? But at the end of the day, it's you and that person that are being in the relationship, and you're the person that have the last saying of like if you want to continue it or like keep fighting for it or just break it off, right? And I'm at the point where like I don't think this relationship is healthy and that I should get out of it. And he took it the wrong way. He thinks that my friends told me to break up with him because he thinks that my friends doesn't like him. And I'm just like, what the frickety frick? And then like if you know me long enough, you know that like I'm a person that once I make up my mind, like solidly, I'm like the most undecisive person, but the moment I make up my mind, it will not change. And no one can tell me like there's no way like anyone could like change my mind once I already made it up, right? And I told him that like it's not because of my friends. I do go for them for advice and stuff like that. I literally did not have anybody. I'm not gonna talk to my mom about it. The heck? That's weird. I mean I would, but like no. That's just ugh. like um I don't know, like yeah, I go to my friends about it, I talk about it, but then like at the end of the day, I'm the one who what is it called? Who makes the decision and I decided to like we should break it off. Like I'll still be friends with you, but if you don't want to be friends with me, that's fine too. Like I don't mind. I mean it's sad that you don't want to be friends with me anymore after this relationship. But I mean there's nothing else I can do. Like I can't force you to be my friends, you know what I'm saying? So like after that, turns out that like he keeps begging people to talk to me to get back to him and that he's the one person that made me hate sunflower.
Sunflowers.
My favorite flower is sunflower. And he's the one person that made me hate sunflower for like a whole week. Because he sent me a sunflower. He literally like calls out like says like mean stuff to me and then out of nowhere, I think during Valentine's or something like that, he what is it called? He told my friends to get me flowers. So it's a sunflower and I think it was a daisy. I think it was a daisy and a sunflower. And then I got really confused because like what the heck? Like you say all this stuff to me. You hurt my feelings. Um and then now you want to redeem it like with a flower? That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? And then like yeah, I hated sunflower at that time. But luckily, it's not like that anymore. I still feel happy when I see sunflower. It's
Mhm.
not a bad memories anymore. But yeah, like throughout I think 2 years, 2 years he despised me. He talks bad about me to other people and then um yeah, he made one of my friend have to like talk to me to try to like get back with him. But my friend understand like the situation and stuff like that, and then he just said to him that like it's her decision that like she wanted out, and that I think it's healthy for her to like do that, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then funny enough, well, it's not really funny, but he actually talks to my previous coworker, and he told me that like I cheated on him with other guy, but I was like, bro,
Oh.
Nobody wants me. Who can I cheat with? Nobody likes me. Like nobody has a crush on me. Like there's no like I'm not attracted to any guy at that time because like my focus is just like literally get through the semester because it was a hell semester for me. And like I did not like my only focus at that time is to like get out of school as soon as possible. Like I was just like just get through like yeah, just get through like the college year. And then yeah, he told my coworker that like I cheated on him and stuff like that. I was like, what the hell? I didn't even talk to any guys. Like the only guys that I talked to were probably my uncles. Literally, will be my uncles to like ask them like if my mom like sent me allowance already or not. Other than that, would be like my friends, my classmates. That about it. And not long after that, I think 5 months after that, I get into another relationship. It was 4 years, but we ended because things not working out. We ended 2021. Yeah,
Oh.
2021. It was really recent actually. It
Mm-hmm.
was last year. Yeah, we ended 2021. I think that's one of the hardest breakup because I mean obviously it's 4 years. I used all my time, effort, and I love this person for like the whole 4 years. And that my family knows about him. They've met, and then I've met his whole entire family. And what sucks the most is that so I don't tell my mom if I get into a relationship because I don't want to go through the teasing phase where like she would like tell me like, "Oh, you have a guy friend, huh?" Or like boyfriend always or stuff like that. I didn't want to go through that. So I never really tell my mom about it. Mom, if you see this one day, please don't get mad at me. I'm sorry. But you still find out anyway. Um but yeah, I never really told my mom about it, but when he met my mom, um he was so shy and did not know like what to call my mom or like how to address my mom, right? And then like I told him to just call like auntie or like Mrs. Chan or something like that, right? Or like his mom. And then like that day what hurts me the most is that my mom let him call my mom. That's probably one of the hurtful things that I have to let go.
Mm-hmm.
That my mom yeah, my mom told there's only two people that my mom let like calling her mom. This is my best friend who I thank God have talked to him again, and then him. There's like the only two-person that like my mom let to like call her mom. And
Yeah.
then yeah, that's probably one of the hardest part of the breakup. And other than that, I literally spent the whole quarantine with him. Like I would go like the 2020 when Corona just started. I would be in his house or he would be in my house, vice versa type thing. And yeah, we literally like spend days together. Other than that, um, yeah, I guess it just didn't work out. Sadly, even though it's 4 years, 4 years is a long time, and it didn't work out. But I learned to let go. I know, like before, like I think young Kez, below 18 Kez, below 18 years old Kez would cry over it for days. But Kez now would just accept it. You know, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it sucks. But you just gotta move on because life keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my relationship. And now I'm dating my best friend.
How'd that happen?
How that happened? I think it was like because I broke up in April. I think 2 months or 3 months. It was like early April, so like 2 3 months after the breakup. We go through like the talking phase, we confess and all that. And then it was like, "Wanna be my girlfriend?" I was like, "Sure." Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, because I have a two guy best friend and I'm dating one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right. So that's Where are you at right now?
Hmm.
Okay, so with all that, the relationship talk, what advice would you give? What general relationship advice?
Don't settle for less. Well, actually, don't settle for less. Don't compromise your standards. If you already like set a standard on like how do you want to be in a relationship, don't compromise it. Talk about it, meet in the middle, but don't compromise it. Um, for other the others. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think my dog is dying.
You're what?
But I don't know. The dog is like whimpering, but
Oh,
yeah, like what I was saying, don't settle for less and don't lower your standards. Never lower your standards. Meet in the middle, talk about it. I've done that with my exes. It's actually not good. It's not worth it. Because at that time you're allowing them to like take controls and that oh if I say this, they're gonna follow it. And that it's gonna end up unhealthy. Yeah. I think that's one of it. And then other than that, what is it called? Um, don't wait for days to talk things out. If you're getting into fights, if you can, I'm the type of person that doesn't go for confrontation first, right? It's hard. Confrontation is hard, dude. It's so hard. Who does confrontation these days? That's like, it's hard. But like, don't wait until like days. I think wait it out until like your emotions a little settle, because you could say things that you'll regret. Um, but like, yeah, talk it out. But obviously, wait till you're like calm down. Like I have to learn that the hard way possible. I'm the type of person if I'm mad and you bug me the most, like if you keep asking us like what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, like it's just gonna like pent up and then it's just gonna make me like angrier. And that I would say the meanest thing. Like I'll say like what's wrong, but then at the same time it will come out like it's gonna come out like your mom's scolding at you. It's gonna be like that and I don't want that to happen. And like when I'm mad at somebody, I know that like I still love them and stuff like that, but I don't say it. I don't like to say that like I love them because it's kind of like contradicting that like I'm having this pent up anger. But like I would still say it though, but at the same time it's kind of like no, it's not genuine. Like if I say it, but I have all these angers filled up in me, but I still say it to them. I rather like wait it out. I know for some people they probably think like, "What? I'm still gonna say it to them just so they don't know that like they still feel loved and stuff like that." But for me, if I'm really angry and I don't say I love you back, does not mean that I don't love you back. I just don't want it to feel like I'm being ingenuine about how I feel about you. Because it's kind of like for me, it feels like what is it called? If it just feels like ungenuine when like I have all this pent up anger and I say I love you.
mhm.
But yeah, I think that would be my advice to be honest.
Thank you for that. Great advice. Um, what would you say are like red flags that you've experienced?
Red flags.
Like dating or
I
in a
hate it.
relationship?
I hate it when a guy said she's just a friend, and then ended up doing all the shit that we're doing together. I was like, what the frick? That's yeah. No, no, no. Don't do that to me. Luckily though, I don't think that has ever actually no, that's a lie. That has ever that happened to me once and then I talk it out. I told him like I don't feel comfortable about that because like that's our thing. Why you make it like the whole people thing? But yeah, if a guy do like the stuff that what is it called that's supposed to be exclusive to you and your relationship and they're doing it to like with other people. But yeah. I think that's a red flag. And then the moment they start lying, or like not really lying, but like I guess he does kind of like lying. Like if they tell me that like they're gonna like do something, like let's say like they're gonna go parties and stuff like that, and there'll be like booze and whatnot. But they're telling me that like, oh, I'm just gonna hang out with the boys. But then they ended up going to a party, and then basically like hiding stuff
Yeah.
from me. Because when I get into a relationship, I want to be as open as possible. At first, I mean, a lot of people experience this like when it's really hard to open up to people, right? But if you get to like be open with me about stuff, that makes me more comfortable to talk about stuff with you as well. And that's like building trust with each other. So like I think if a guy cannot tell me, or like they're afraid of telling me something, or ashamed of telling me they messed up or stuff like that, I think that just I don't want none of that. But
All
yeah.
right. Red flags. Okay. So now we're gonna be switching gears. How
Awesome, awesome.
how how are you mentally right now? How's your mental health?
Ooh, that's hard. Like right now, I would say I am happy but unstable, because I will still get like anxiety attack, and that I still think about what people have to say about me these
Mm-hmm.
days. And I think I'm lacking of social skills. Ever since the lockdown happened and I cannot meet my friends or
Yeah.
like meet other people, I think my social skills just went down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But right now though, I'm working on it. I think the worst thing that has ever happened to me is that I get panic attack every time I get into a fight with people that I care about, or I'm close with.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really hurtful. Especially if I can't talk to them personally, like face to face, and then like I have to like deal with it throughout the distance, and I can't say what I have to say, because like throughout text there's only so much you could express, right? And
Yeah.
then like you can't really feel what the other party's feeling, or like the emotion is just not there, you know what I'm saying? Like even with calls, like you can hear it, but it's just like, okay, after the talk, I can't comfort you. So like that's like one of the thing that I hate the most, like being away from my friends and ended up having fights or arguments with them. It just gives me like anxiety and panic attack, because like I have this fear that like my closest friends would leave me if I like piss them off. That's like one thing that I'm scared the most. Ever since that the stuff that happened with my best friend, not talking to him for like a whole semester, that's like one thing that triggers it the most. That like I'm scared that like one day that will happen again, but permanently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay. And when you felt like you were at your lowest point in life, how did you get yourself out of that? What like keeps you going?
Um, what I do, this is what I do. Whenever I have a panic attack or whenever I have anxiety, I would literally go under my bed. I would go under my bed and be a turtle and cry. I would literally cry. But if I can't take it anymore, I have to call somebody. I have to call somebody, or else like I'm gonna go insane. Um, but whenever that happens, I would usually count 1 to 10, and then if that doesn't work, I would literally squeeze my blanket or like get my squishy toys to like just to calm me down a little bit. But every time someone calls me, that calms me down a little bit more. Especially if someone that closest with me called me, it calms me down. And to get out of that, I just told myself that like it's not permanent. It's gonna be okay. As cliche as it sounds, it works for me.
Hmm.
It's really hard though. It takes at least 30 minutes of crying and then a convincing um speech by my friends. It
Yeah.
takes that whole thing. But yeah, I think that's one of it. Luckily, I've never taken any medicine. I've talked to a counselor before,
Hmm.
but I think the best thing, at least for me, like if you could afford to go to therapist and if you are going through like some serious um mental health issues and stuff like that, please do. But at the same time, if you're not really comfortable to that, have that one friend that you trusted the most and talk it out to them. Really, like it actually helps. It actually helps. Even if like I know like a lot of people would say like, oh, talk to your parents. Yeah. But like for me, having my close
Oh, your mic like acting up.
was it out? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, like um, I think like I know like it's hard to talk to it to like adults or like your parents. But I think to just have that one, at least one person. You don't have to like have a group of people to like talk about your problems and stuff like that. But at least have that one person that you trusted the most, like kind of like life or death situation trust type thing, and be able to like talk about it with them. Like I think it's one of like the most beautiful and appreciated and very calming feelings that someone could ever have. Yeah. That's what I would do, to be honest.
Perfect. So that's what you would do, and that was basically your advice, so thank you for that. You briefly mentioned how lockdown has affected you, but how else has COVID affected you?
Um, a lot of things. I was the first lockdown. I was so scared that I will not graduate. So I took 1 year really slow. So I was supposed to graduate it within the 4 years, but I took 5 years in college because one of the semester I took less unit. So that ended up gives me like extra semester, like extra year in college. So that was one thing that I was so scared because our graduation kept being moved. And like I have to write a thesis and our thesis defense keep getting moved. And usually graduation is on May, right? And I literally have my graduation in December. And during that whole thing when COVID happens, like my teacher does not look at my emails. My paper was not signed at all. Like I've what is it called? I filed for like graduation, like, I already put my name in, like, graduation list and stuff like that, but there's no way that I could graduate unless, like, my thesis is being signed. And, like, yeah, that's, like, one of the things that scares me the most throughout that's the first lockdown. That's, like, one thing that scares me the most. I was so scared that I would not graduate and then that I would disappoint my mom because, like, she's a single parent and, like, she's already, like, taking care of, like, me and my brother and, like, our other family member. And, like, I'm so scared that I didn't graduate it and then that I will be a disappointment for her. And yeah, that's like the first lockdown. And then after that, I've been getting COVID scares.
Hmm.
So, one time, I think it was after the breakup or something like that, I was staying at my friend's house. And then one of the guy who lives there went to do like graduation stuff and turns out that like the people that he was with have COVID. And then at that time I was staying over at their house and then he comes back and then he felt sick and then basically we were being quarantined together because like he got affected, right? He felt sick, but the antigen was like negative or something like that. Or like the person that he was with said that like, oh, it's not COVID, it's just like normal cold and cough and stuff like that. But then later on, I think couple weeks after that, we learned that that was COVID. And before he fly home, because you have to like do a PCR test right before traveling, he got his test result back and it was positive. And at that time, yeah, we were like in the house and I can't go back to my house because like I don't want to risk my brother to get COVID as well, right? Because I've been spending time with them. Um, so like yeah, I ended up just and I don't want to stay in that house, so I did not have a choice but to like stay at my ex's house. So I stayed with my ex, we got quarantined together and we got swapped together. Luckily, we're both negative, so like I get to like eat it out of the house fast. Um, but yeah, that's like another thing. I think COVID scares. I've been getting COVID scares, but I have not have COVID yet. I'm the one soul that like very prone to get sick, but so far I don't know how I dodged the bullets, but it happens, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, the other thing that affecting me the most is like distance, like not being able to see my friends. I mean, as I already mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
not being able to see my friends, not to be able to like do like my normal activities, and like everything is just delayed. I'm stuck in here, like I can't go home yet because like flights are being canceled and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and everything, all future plans are like moved back.
Yeah.
And like I could have been moving to New York by now, but I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, the positive thing that it has in this whole quarantine that has like affecting me is that I get to start streaming, and I met really cool people. I met you. That's one of the cool thing.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about streaming. That's gonna be an exciting topic.
But yeah, I think that's one of the positive thing that like I could take out from like this whole quarantine worldwide lockdown thing.
Mhm. Awesome. Thank you for that. So now we're gonna jump into other topics. So as of now,
Mhm.
what would you say would be your goals and aspirations in life?
Right now is just to fly back home to Indonesia. That's one. That's one goal that I need to tackle.
Yeah.
Um, Second would be I need to get a job as much as like I think I get a decent pay through my freelancing and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I need like a income that where it's like monthly and could like sustain me
Mm-hmm.
more. Because I don't want to use my mom's money. Like right now, my mom's helping with like paying the rent and like our groceries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, my goal is to not be dependent on her, like fully dependent on her anymore. Like I'll still live with her for a while until like because I'm planning to take my master's. So that's another goal to like move to New York or California, SoCal,
Yeah.
and pursue my actual art degree and master's. And later on in life, my ultimate goal is to make my own art cafe that will be a safe place for everybody to make art.
Nice. That sounds awesome. For cafe. Okay. Other than that, what other traveling have you done already, and where do you want to go in the future, other than back
Watch.
home and like LA or SoCal and New York?
um, for my whole 22 years of life, I didn't really get to travel outside the country a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we have traveled. I think I've been to a lot of the islands in Indonesia already. And I get to travel around the Philippines throughout like the 8 years I've lived here. And I've been to Singapore once. I had a layover there when I first went home. But outside that, I really want to go to Italy and Greece. Yeah, just for the wine.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously like for like the views and stuff. But I don't want to go to like the places. where like it's really a tourist spot. I think that will be the last thing on my traveling list to go visit the most tourist spot. I want to go to like if I go to a certain country, I want to go to where like people haven't found or like haven't not a lot of people um have been. So yeah. Other than that, probably traveling with my friends because they had a meetup in SoCal last November. So on my birthday, they were all together. It was my first time missing a group meetup.
Hmm.
And then they're all there, but I was happy that they still call me during their whole trip. But yeah, I think my goal for traveling in the nearest years or nearest months, probably traveling with one of my best friends.
Nice. Travel and adventure talk. So
Mhm.
we are going to transition to social media. So other than Twitch,
Social
what
media.
platforms are you active on?
I am currently, well, not really currently, but I used to be really active on Instagram, but now it's like so kind of thing. But I'm trying TikTok. I've been trying to make like skits on TikTok. It's just like very like corny and cheesy ones. I don't know why. Every time I post my makeup, I get less viewer than when I posted like pickup lines or something like that. I was like, okay, y'all want to see clown content? Fine, I will deliver.
Hmm.
So like that's like one thing that I've been doing. But other than that, I'm trying to like revive my Instagram again, both my art accounts and my personal.
Yeah.
For my personal account, my plan for this year, probably get more like fashion stuff going on there. But I've been just really I've been really packed with like streaming, studying, and not really like make contents in there. And so yeah.
Briefly talk about Banana Pixel.
Banana Pixel is my art account.
Hmm.
It was just a portfolio, but I want to make Banana Pixel a whole brand thing. I want to make it to actual brand where it's not just art, like where people can commission me and stuff, but it'll also be like a photo editing and like people can buy my presets. And yeah, that's Banana Pixel was originally just for like portfolio, but it is now open for collab designs or photos if you are around the Philippine area or Indonesia. But yeah, that's Banana Pixel.
Okay. Now to the big one. We're gonna talk about Twitch.
Ooh.
So, how did you get into Twitch and what made you decide to stream?
Funny enough, it was my boyfriend who inspired me to start streaming. My current boyfriend.
Hmm.
So, I know that he streams on Twitch, and like, when quarantine started, I've been wanting to like, cause I used to make vlogs or try to make vlogs in YouTube whenever like I travel with my friends. And at that time, I wanted to start making content again, but I wanted to like where like people can interact with me or like talk to me type thing, right? And like a lot of people have been doing like IG live and then like a lot of people like were really booming on YouTube at that time to like do a day with me or like cooking with me or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't think I should compete with that, or like I don't want to really put myself in a place where like I have to compete with people, right? Um, so one time I decided to like my boyfriend now was streaming, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what he do on stream. But at that time, I did not have Twitch account yet. I was just like click his link type thing, and then like saw him like playing video games. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like you can talk to people while you're playing games, and then like after I watch him, I go to like the not recommended. It's like I guess recommended. No, category. And then like I see people making art. It's like you literally just sit down, draw, or like sit down and design. and get to talk to people. So I was like, that's awesome. Like I want to do that. And then like even if like I see like small streamers as well, how like they're very it's like you're making a tutorial but live time. And I thought it was really cool. So that's one of the things that made me like, you know what? Maybe I should try it. Like I already like talking to myself and like I like thinking out loud. And so like I feel like I would have fun doing it. So yeah, I tried it. I the first time I streamed, I did not have a setup. I was literally on my floor, New Year's Eve, 31st December at midnight. I was on my bedroom floor playing TFT
Hmm.
on Twitch with no overlays whatsoever. It was so janky, it was so scuffed. And like I had my first viewer and then like they were just like ask me about like the stuff and whatnot. I was like, what? This is insane. People actually watch me? But yeah. I think yeah. That's how like the whole Twitch started.
For you, yeah. Okay, then as of now, what categories do you stream and what is your schedule like?
I started TFT and now I'm going with TFT. Because at first I started streaming even more because I'm playing on NA server, which
Oh,
is give me like 200 ping
yeah.
because I'm not in America. And like my internet at that time, I was streaming with my mobile data. So I was really, really lagging. And I decided to just like just stream my art. So I'll literally sit down and like draw and then or like watch other people draw while I'm drawing
Hmm.
and streaming at the same time. And right now, I haven't really done much art, but I've been doing a lot of co-streaming, which is really helpful. I'm very productive when I'm doing a co-streaming, a co-working streaming stuff.
Yeah.
And um I would always end if I do co-working stream that day, my reward will be gaming, which is TFT.
Hmm.
um but yeah, I think that's my rotation for now is basically just co-working and sometimes I serenade people or just sing if I don't want to play any games or do work.
Yeah.
And I'll just sing or play Tetris. Lose my brain cells on Tetris. um in terms of schedule, sometimes I stream 2 days. 2 times a day. It's either midnight to like oh like 8 p.m. to midnight my time. That'll be like early morning for you guys, or it'll be like late in the afternoon for me, and it'll be like midnight for you guys.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't really have schedule to be honest. I would say I just stream whenever I feel like streaming.
Yeah.
But
Okay. How good are you at TFT?
yeah. I'm not that good.
Like you rank?
I'm not the best. Yeah, I do. I go rank.
What's your peak rank?
Plat 1.
Hmm.
Plat
Okay,
1 and
okay.
I just recently hit hyper tier, which is the highest tier for hyper roll.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah.
Talk about your day ones on Twitch. Like who you've met and are still with you today.
Day ones on Twitch. Oh, sorry. Day ones on
Okay.
Twitch um will be okay, so we have this thing called Rogue TV, right? We're like the Walmart version of OTV. So one of our friend, one of our Twitch friend comes into one of our friends on my boyfriend's stream and then call him Michael Reeves. And then from there, we just kind of like, oh, this guy like reminds me of like Choco Bars or like um this guy remind me of like Arya and stuff like that. It's like, bro, we're like the BTV. Like we're like the off version of like offline TV. So like those are the people that still stick around until these days, and I appreciate them all so much. And my brother Jikus, if you're watching, he is one of the people that like I have like basically talk about like my streaming stuff, and then he helped me with like technical stuff. Like I would literally go to him like, "Yo, how do you stream? How do you like set up your OBS? How do you set up like your Streamlabs and stuff?" So yeah. And then other than that, some of my real life friends actually follow me on Twitch, and
Hmm.
then they have been supporting me as well, and like share my Twitch whenever I'm live and stuff. And to be honest though, I just appreciate people who like been through the journey, who have seen me literally playing in the middle of the night on my bedroom floor until to like now where I actually have a decent table and like a workspace. Um yeah, even if like to me, right? I feel like viewership is probably the least important to me as long as like I have fun, and if I have my friends with me and get to play games with them, I think that's like the most fun part of being on stream or streaming. But just to like get to do what I wanted to do
Yeah.
in like my own way, I think that's one of like the most important thing. And as long as I enjoy it,
Hmm.
which by far I have enjoying it.
Really good to hear.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
what is your favorite memory on Twitch so far?
My favorite memory. Oh, there's a lot. But I think my most favorite memory was when I first get affiliated. When I first got affiliated, they made me cry. And then when I had my 1 year anniversary, they made me cry again. Because like the people that I was spending it with, they literally know like how struggling I was with streaming and stuff like that, with like how laggy my stream could be, dropping frames, and it's just like I'm just happy that you guys are still sticking true like throughout the whole lag process.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I always appreciate people that like stop by and send me brain cells whenever like I play TFT. But yeah, I don't know. It's always a good time. So it's really hard to
To
pick a
pick one,
favorite
yeah.
memory. Yeah, like when you just vibe and then like, just enjoying your time. It's
Hmm.
like every time you get on, it's like it's just the good times.
Yeah, yeah. Have you had any of your own meetups with any Twitch streamers?
Yes, in the Philippines. So
Hmm.
I had a meetup with them. I think before Christmas last year. And then we ended up meeting up. Um, and I met my real life friends, but she's also now a Twitch streamer. And then yeah, that's the first time I've seen her in like 4 years. And like to be honest, it's really fun. It is really fun just to like talk to them about it because they all play on C server, and some of them are like actual like pro Valorant players, and I don't play any of the games that they're playing. Like I don't play FPS game. Literally the only game that I play is League, and I don't play on C server. I play on NA. And
Yeah.
just like to get to know who they are, and then like how do they get into like the Twitch stuff, and then like how they get to like sign up with like some orgs and stuff like that, and become a content creator, and getting like some advice from them. It's really wholesome,
Hmm.
and to be honest, 10 out of 10 would do it again. But yeah.
Nice. Love to hear it. Okay, so you've been on Twitch for a while. What impact has it had on you? How would you describe it?
I'm being more productive to be honest. Every time I stream, I get more productive, and it makes me, well, gaming wise, it gives me like a mindset that like one day I will be the first female TFT pro. Okay, maybe not first. One of the pro TFT player who plays not on NA, but will be one of the pro NA player. That's my goal. At least for like TFT.
Hmm.
Um, as for games, other than that, the impact that have like Twitch have gave me, social skills to be honest, talking to people, mm, and then just like it kind of like a confidence boost because like I don't really dress up to stream. Like I literally comes in as who I am and how I feel that day. If I wake up and I feel like streaming, I will literally just be on my pajamas or on my hoodies, and I'll just be streaming and playing games or like do arts. And something that I love the most is that people watch me for who I am,
Hmm.
not when like I'm all dressed up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like I told this to my chat so many times. I'm like, I don't want to dress up on my stream. You guys think I'll dress up for you guys? Come on, I don't even dress up for the guy that I like.
Uh-huh.
Like, um, yeah, like I just come as who I am, and that's like what I appreciate the most. That like people actually watch me the way I am.
So with that being said, what would you say are the pros and cons of Twitch?
The pros and cons. The pros is that you definitely get to meet a lot of people and you learn a lot of things. Sometimes like streamers could give you like random fun facts. And that's really cool. And then like other than that, obviously when you follow a streamer who plays the same game as you get to learn their play style and what's good and what's not.
Yeah.
So I think that's like one of the pros. And other than that, you get to like obviously make friends. And if you're actually like focusing on trying to make it as your career, then good for you that you get to like what do you call that? Get signed with like organization or something like that. Um yeah, I think that's the pros. The cons for me, being not really not really like compared, but I don't really like it when people say that like girl streamer make it faster than guy streamer. That's not true. At the end of the day, if you stream, you're a content creator. So people watch you for your content. If your face is your content, then I guess good for you. If you make it that way with that way, but it's never really like oh because of your girl. You're a girl, you can make it faster. Partially, maybe it could be true, but it shouldn't be the standards. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's toxic. Like if you're gonna say that like just because you're a girl, people will watch you. That's not true. Like there are girls who are like very good at video games, very pretty, very talented, and like they're still a small streamer. They're a growing streamer. So it really isn't because of like gender wise. And that's just one of like the toxic thing that I don't like when it comes to like streaming. I guess it's not just like Twitch platform. I guess in like every platform where it comes to like um streaming wise. And the cons, not I don't say sleeping schedule. I don't really sleep to be honest. But I guess when it comes to like um spending more time online, probably yeah. That's probably one of the cons. Cause like I feel like at least for me, if I spend more time online, socializing online, I feel like I would be too comfortable setting myself online instead of like offline. Then I'll be really awkward offline when I actually meet people in real life. But yeah. I think that's one of the cons is that I just get more awkward
Mm-hmm.
in real life. I get really shy, but then like if you see me streaming, like oh my gosh, she's like hella loud. She's like crackhead energy. But then like when in person, when you see me, I'm hella shy. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I think that's one of the cons.
Okay, and you actually touched a little about next question about the guys versus girls. on
Mhm.
Twitch. Do you have any other thoughts, like to further elaborate?
Uh, what do you mean, like, further
Like,
elaborate?
how would you compare the differences for guys and girls starting out on Twitch?
Differences. Well, I mean, if you look at society standards, right? If we
Mm-hmm.
if we go based by society standards, if you're pretty or if you're handsome, I'll watch you. If you have a nice voice, I'll watch you. Type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what society standards is. But by the end of the day, we're all just content creator, you know? Like people watch you for your content. So if you're funny, then yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Like if you're a girl, if you're a guy, if you're bad at games. I'm bad at games. I still play games on my stream. I could care less about what people say. But like yeah, like I just hate it when like people start saying like, "Oh, it's because you're a girl," or like, "Oh, it's because you have Sims." I was like, "Bro, what? Did the Sims told me how to like did the Sims carry me all the way to plat 1? No. I climb myself. I solo queue myself."
Mm-hmm.
But like um yeah, like I just hate it. I just hate that mentality that people have that type of standard that like you have to be attractive for me to watch you. I was like, "What?" I feel like this person is genuinely kind and nice and actually crack at game and actually entertaining and like you're missing out on like a gem, you know? But yeah.
Yes. Okay. Have you ever encountered trolls and hate? If so, how did you handle the situation?
Trolls and hate. Trolls not, but when I get like thirsty comments or like when people start finding my personal IG and go to my DMs and just start saying nonsense stuff, I'm just like, what the hell? Get the heck out of here. Like don't do it. Don't do it. Like this is my no square. Do not pass it. Cause like one time, this actually happens recently. Like this guy came to my chat, and then saying that like, damn, she's really cute. Like, come on now. I know I'm cute, but like you don't like I get it. But like it was just a joke. Don't take me seriously. I'm like not that cute. Um, but prior to that, apparently that guy, before going to my chat, he's been replying to like what is it called that? He's been replying to my stories on my IG and um like I do get people like doing that to like my IG, right? But I've never seen that. Like if I don't, like in Instagram, like if you don't follow each other, it goes like the messages go to like your request. So one time I checked that it goes to my request, and then when he came to my chat, he was saying that what is it called um that like he messaged me on IG and he wanted to buy me a dinner and stuff like that. And then like when I open my IG, like when you open a message request, right? It stays in the request unless you accept it. Um and then what is it? He prior going to my chat, he's been replying to my stories and like calling me like, "Oh my god, you're so hot" and stuff like that. And then it's just really thirsty, like, bro, this guy is dehydrated as frick. And it makes me like hella uncomfortable. And then he went to my chat, and then my boyfriend texted me like, "Who is this guy? Like, why is he DMing you and stuff like that?" I don't know who this person is. And then um, yeah. After that, I block him on everything because he commented on my photo, and then he keeps going to my chat saying like all this dehydrated stuff. I was like, bruh, shut up. And then he was literally because I was playing games with my brother at the time. It's like brother, like a kuya to me. Um, I was playing games with my brother, and then he was like saying, "Oh, let me buy you a dinner." And then I was just trolling. I was like, "Hey, yeah, you want a free dinner? Like this guy can like get you some dinner or something." And then like after that, he's so persistent to um just to talk to me and stuff like to get my attention, right? And I already told myself this, like if ever I get a thirsty comments or if someone goes beyond the board to like talk to me, right? Like overboard compliment that like makes me uncomfortable, I will not entertain them or reply to them because the moment I reply to them, the moment you give in, like the moment you give that pass, you're gonna think that like, oh, she replies. That means I can do it again. And that just like give them a permission to like keep doing it to you. So I told myself that like I'm not gonna entertain this. Like you can like spam my account and stuff like that, but like I'm not gonna give two shits about it. And he literally goes to my DM and says like, um, can you like talk to me right now? Can we call? Like I'll give you $80. Like I'll spoil prior to that he says like I'll spoil you. I'll send you 80 right now. I was like, bruh, you gonna spoil me with $80? Come on. I might be small, but I eat a lot. $80 will not give me anything. It will not get me full. Um, but like, I just like, bro, it is so uncomfortable. I was like, first of all, you say you're gonna spoil me, and you gonna like send me $80 only? Come on now, like $80. What can I do with $80? I mean, obviously it's kind of a lot, but then like at the same time, like I can't really like I can buy groceries, but at the same time, it won't last that long. And then like I just told myself like this is so dumb. And then I just don't appreciate it how like um why does it call that? That people goes to my stream wanted to send money just so that like I can call them or they can call me or spend time with me type thing. Like I don't want that. Like I don't call that like you're supporting my stream. Like, I just want you, like, genuinely just be on my chat, talk to me, talk about how your day goes, what did you do in a day? How was your day? Did you all have fun throughout your day? What major thing happens in your life? Instead of like get on my personal account and tell me all this dumb stuff. And I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, I just don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate it when people literally goes to my thing and think that I'm that easy to get. But yeah, at least that's for me when it comes to
Yeah.
trolls
What
or
a
like
story.
very thirsty. Yeah, it's so uncomfortable. I hope it never happens to anyone out there. But if it does happen to you guys, I am so sorry and please be safe. Please be safe and don't entertain them. Really, it's a waste of time.
Okay, do you have any goals for Twitch?
Any goals? Right now my goals is to get to 500, to be honest, before the year end. That's my goal on Twitch. Other than that, I don't know. I just want to have fun. I
Yeah.
don't. I'm not trying to pursue streaming as like a permanent career.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a device where I could talk to other people, share about my day, and if they need, a safe space to talk,
Yeah.
that will be the purpose of me streaming.
You have a 500 goal, right? Is that the mukbang one, or what is your goal?
Yeah, I think that's the mukbang one. Yeah,
Nice.
sorry
Okay.
that one.
Okay, so how'd you come up with your username?
You know what? Every single time someone new, well, not every single time, a lot of people come to my chat, ask us like, "Do you smoke?" Like, did your name did your name come up from like Kush Kush? I was like, no. Like every single time, I have to like explain myself. Like, how like, hi guys, what is it called that? Um, welcome to my channel. Like, thank you for the follows. My name is Kush. I don't smoke though, but it's just my name. So, so how I come up with my name? So my name is Kez, right? Um, and then, like, I love. Do you know Emperor's New Grooves, Cusco?
Yes.
And so like, that's that's like what is it called that? Oh, I love Emperor's New Grooves, right?
Mhm.
So my name was combined with Cusco, and then like I just add the sh just because I just want to be like kind of poppy. I was gonna use my name and a number, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, that's like too generic. I need to be like something unique that like people will not forget. And like banana pixel is too long. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with Kush. And turns out that Kush is actually I think it's pronounced or it's spelled Cush. If I don't get it wrong, that's one of like a empire or a kingdom in Africa. So that's also like one of the reason why. And then what do you call that? I just make that thing. I just make that as my username. But then people think that like, do you smoke? I was like, no, I don't. I have like the weakest lung ever. I'm allergic to smoke. I can't have smoke around me. So yeah.
Nice. That's the
That's the
name.
reason why. Yeah, that's why like all my alerts is like Empress New Groove and like I think my stream notification because like Cusco is an emperor, right? And I'm a girl, so I'm an empress. It's like a joke. It's a whole joke. Like my name is a joke. So like, hi, my name is Kush, but I don't smoke. I don't smoke though. It's just my name. But yeah.
Okay, next question. Um, is your family supportive of you streaming?
I did not tell them.
Uh,
I did not tell them that I stream. Except my brother. My brother knows that I stream.
uh-huh.
But my mom does not know that I stream. Because
Ooh.
the moment she knows I stream, she's gonna come to my chat and she's gonna like critique everything and I don't want to get lectured on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
It's just yeah, I just don't want to tell my parents about it.
so with your experience on Twitch so far, what advice would you give to those who are trying to grow, or for those who are just getting started with streaming?
Getting started. Oh, an advice: have fun. Literally, have fun, and don't make a mindset that like, oh, I have to play a certain character to make people watch me. That's probably like one of like the best. I wish that like a lot of people encourage that into a lot of streamers these days. Um, just be yourself. Like even if you just start right, 1, 2 people seeing you, or even like right now, like even if I just have like one person seeing me doing whatever I'm doing, um, like it's already enough. Like just because like you'll never know. You'll never know who's gonna watch you. Or like who's gonna discover you on Twitch or like in any streaming platform. Like you will never know. It could be someone from like a popular streamer or like people do that sort of like make it big out there. Like
Mhm.
you'll never know. Just like do your thing, be you, you know. Do whatever makes you like have fun. That's what I would say, to be honest. Every single time someone asks me like, "Oh, how to stream? How can I be like you?" Every single time someone asks me like, "How can I be like you?" I was like, "Don't be like me. Why would you be like me? Like, have your own confidence. My confidence is different than your confidence. What you love is different than what I love, and that you don't have to follow what the society or like what's trending. I mean, obviously, like we gotta keep up with the trend and whatnot, but at the same time, like you shouldn't be um always following what's like what the wave is on right now. Sometimes you just have to like create your own path, you know? And then from there you just build your own empire and your community. And that's what like I love the most. That like how literally you sit down, do whatever you like to do, you enjoying your time. People, strangers that you've never met before, just like, give you a good company and then like enjoying the stuff that you're doing as well. And they're basically ended up becoming your friends. I think that's one of like the beauty of it.
Great
But
advice. Hmm. Be yourself. Okay.
what would you give?
Huh?
What would you give if someone just started like streaming? What advice would you give?
Oh, I actually talked about that the other day on stream. A lot of similar
Mm.
things. Honestly, there's layers to it. Obviously, there's no wrong answer because everyone has their own opinion. But
Mhm.
yeah, just have fun with it and honestly, be yourself. I feel like you should also make people feel special and, really take the time to talk to them whenever they drop
Yes,
by because you never know who you'd come across, like you said. Anyone could drop by at any given time.
that's true.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot more, but we could talk about that later. This is your podcast. Alright, talk about your first impression of Dian.
Of who? Duyen?
Yeah.
Dude is my sad sister, bro. I love her. She's so cute. She's hella cute, bro. I think the first time I met Duyen was through Among Us. Because when we all used to like game together before everyone like get busy and stuff like that. We used to like game together, and dude, Duyen is so cute. I kid you not. She's so cute. She's my sad sisters. Yeah, that's my first impression of Duyen.
Wait, so how did you exactly come across her stream?
I think one of my friend uh rated her channel,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I follow her, and then from there they all start playing games together, and then I got invited, and then we all play games together, and then yeah, and then we become a Sag sisters. But yeah.
Okay, your thoughts about SRTV and how did you get involved?
SRTV. Do you ask me? Like one day, it was a sunny day in the Philippines. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It
okay.
was, um, I think I was playing League, and then whenever I play games, I don't check my Discord or I don't check my phones unless someone call me, or if it's my mom. Because I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to get beat up. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, Dian messaged me on Discord, and
Mm-hmm.
she was like saying, "Hey, Kaz, like, we're starting this group, a streamer group, a non-streamer group called SRTV, and we would want you to be like part of it as an artist, and then like share your creativity with us and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. That's actually really cool."
Mm-hmm.
And like yeah, but then like I took time, right, to think about it because like I don't want to be part of something that I won't be committed, or like I would ended up not get to like know the people who's gonna be involved with it type thing. And then like yeah, I just decided, okay, sure, why not? Like what do I have to do and stuff like that. And then from there I got invited to the Discord server, and then what happened next? Oh, and then Kuya Chill went to my chat. um he was just saying that like, oh, just stop by because I saw you streaming on like SRTV. Just want to show support and stuff like that. I was like, what? Wait, that's really cool. And then like I think he suggested my name, and then I submitted the logo.
Mm-hmm.
That's how like everything that like started. And then like every single time I get a notification from SRTV that there's a meeting, and I see you guys on the voice chat, I was like, bro, I'm so shy. I want to say hi, but like, nah, I'm too shy for this. Like, yeah, like there's like every single like Tuesday, I was like, I get a notification, right? I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, the meeting's about to start. It's like, hey, we're encouraged like people to like come and stuff like that. It's like, I should go. But then like there are times that like when you guys have meetings, I just started my stream.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, and then like every single time I see you guys online, I was like, yo, I want to say hi, but I'm shy. But I should say hi though, but I'm shy. So if any of you guys from SRTV watching right now, hi. I'm sorry, I'm really shy.
No
But yeah.
wonder I never see you in meetings. Like, you literally could join and not talk.
But
Listening.
still.
Okay. Alright, alright. That's fine. Wait, did you hear the
Yeah.
news then?
Yeah, actually, Kriyachill told me yesterday, and I was like, What? That's not in Google
Congratulations.
Docs. It's not in Google Docs. This is a lie. You're capping right now. And I was like, no, I didn't. I'm not capping. No cap. No cap. I was like, no way. You're capping right now. I was still in disbelief until this day.
Yeah, like, what inspired you to draw the logo like that? But for context, your logo won and is going to be
Um,
used for SRTV.
to be honest, I was gonna make a tequila sunrise.
Oh,
Like a tequila sunrise as a logo,
okay.
but because it's like sunrise, right?
Yeah.
SRTV. So I was like, yeah, and then after I was like, wait, but there's a TV, so maybe I should incorporate like something that will say it's a TV without like having the word TV on it. So yeah, that's how I come up with the logo. But yeah, I don't know how I got picked up, to be honest. It was literally I was just doodling. I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. Alright, I'm gonna submit this.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah.
At this point, we will just jump into the random questions now.
All right.
Last few random questions to finish things off. And if anyone has questions in chat, feel free to ask away and I'll relay the message.
Poggers, poggers. Is it okay if I eat chips?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. I was like, I want. I've been like, have you ever have that like when you taste something, like when you're craving something, you taste it in your tongue, then you're like, do I have it? Do I don't have it? But like, I've been tasting like chips on my mouth. I was like, I want chips. But yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Feel free to ask me something.
Okay. Do you have my stream up by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, question from Cushy. As
What did Kush?
yeah,
We're Kush squared.
yes. As a designer, what do you think about my panels? My new panels.
Your new panels?
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one? Is that the one that you made that you were doing on stream yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, honestly though, I like it. I love the font.
That's
I actually love the font.
Cushy's work.
Wow, I actually really like it. I actually really like it. Wait, do you actually want a full thought as a graphic designer or like
Wait, what do you mean by that?
do you
Oh,
want
oh,
like
Cushy?
as a yeah, like as a full thought as a graphic designer? But like
Yes, your full. I guess your full thought.
oh, okay. Well, to be honest, right? I really love the font that you use and like how it's very like here's the thing, right? Sometimes like when you make like panels like this, it's really hard for people to like read, especially if like the words are like really congested. But then like the way it's just placed, it's just really nice. Like it's easy to read. Yeah. I like it. I actually really like it. And I love like how the colors like mesh together. And then like you put what is it called that? A creative fonts and yeah, you put two creative fonts together. And that's like something that's really hard to pull off. Like when it comes to like designing stuff, you should never like put creative fonts together unless I like it's really not shouldn't, but like it's really hard to pull off. So like have two more than one creative fonts because usually it should be like creative fonts or like free fonts and then you have like sans which is it's kind of like too long to explain it like sans or sans serif fonts type thing but like it's really good. I like it.
There you go, Cushy. Oh, open to critique, but those were your thoughts.
Yeah. My thoughts.
Okay. So, what would you consider as your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Um, biggest pet peeve. Biggest pet peeve. If I'm doing something and then you tell me to stop doing it in the middle of me doing something, that's like one of the biggest pet peeves. Like, bro, can I finish this first? Like, stop it. Let me do my thing first. I think that's one of it. And then
Yeah.
other than that, I don't like being mansplained. I really don't like it being mansplained.
Mm-hmm.
I like people teach me things instead of saying that like, oh no, you shouldn't do it like that. It should be like this, and ended up I'm doing it their way type thing, and not like and learn nothing out of that. So I
Yeah.
rather like you explain it to me step by step how to do it and what I could do better with it instead of like, oh, you should do it like this. You should do it my way type thing. I think that's like one of my pet peeve.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest pet peeve.
Okay, so from Kashigan, where do you see yourself professionally in 5 years?
Professionally in 5 years, if I do make it to New York. Oh, sorry.
It's
My
okay.
phone is super good.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
mm, Professionally, if I do make it to New York, I hope that I will be in New York's Fashion Week within the 5 years. But if that thing did not happen, I hope by the time on 5 years I get to like build my own label, which is Banana Pixel.
And a
Yeah,
pixel.
I don't know. In the 5 years, my goal is to like actually make Banana Pixel, and after that, that's when the art cafe stuff coming in.
Do you have any pets?
I don't, but I kind of take care of like the guard dog that we have in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That guard dog, it's a guard dog, but she's so cuddly. Literally every single time I come home, you know, like guard dogs should bark at people. This dog is not meant for like being a guard. She would literally jump on me and cuddle me and give me kisses. And I'm like, bro, you should not do that. You should be barking at me first. Like, she will literally like jump on me and stuff like that. But she's not really my pet, but I kind of take care of her, sort of. But
Yes.
yeah.
What is your greatest fear?
Greatest fear being left alone. And I don't like small spaces. I'm claustrophobic.
Okay, what is a quote that you live by?
Mm, just do it. Actually, I can just do it.
Nike. All right. Do you have a favorite candy bar?
Does Snickers count as candy bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be Snickers or Red Vines.
Snickers.
I used to like Nerds a lot or Pixie Dust, but now I'm like into Snickers and Red Vines.
What would you consider as your best trait or characteristic?
I'm very patient. I'm very patient. There's no way. Like you could piss me off like so many times, but at the same time, I will tolerate you. But to a certain point. To a certain point. I'm a very patient person, but I'm patiently no, I'm impatiently patient. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's one of my best traits, and that I like learnings. I like learning about things, and I like to share about what I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What would you consider as your greatest accomplishment and failure in life?
Greatest accomplishment, graduated college, bro. That shit was hard. that that shit was hard. Anyone who graduated college and survived the whole, I don't know, 4 or 5 years of college, bro, congratulations. You survive it. That's probably one of it. Other than that, my greatest accomplishment would be what would it be? Oh, making my own designs, I guess. Or like have people, I think when people trusted me to do commissions for them, I think that's one of a good accomplishments. Yeah. That's for me.
Okay. So, what was your first impression of me?
First impression of Wilson. You know what? Just kidding. I think you're really cool. I think you're really cool. Like I've never I think you're one of the few people that I followed who do a lot of just chatting and literally just vibe. Because like everyone else plays games, right? Which is cool. Like I appreciate that. And like I think you're one of the few people that I follow that actually just do a lot of just chatting and literally talk to your community. Like just talk about anything. And I thought that was really cool. I thought you were really cool. I think you're still really cool. So we
Thank
all
you.
agree, Chad.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, question from Wendy. What was one of your most memorable memories in college?
Hmm? Wait, Windy? Windy? That's my close friend. That's my best friend. She was my roommate. Hmm. Uh, but yeah, Windy is actually my roommate. She was one of my roommate in one of the semester.
Mhm.
My favorite, most memorable memories is definitely whenever we travel together.
Nice.
As always traveling. What I hate the most though, that she would literally wake me up, like hug me
Uh,
every Sunday morning. But no, I love you.
okay. Top 5 streamers that you find yourself watching the most.
Arya. Arya Asakiro. She's a waifu. She cooks, she plays games, she plays TF2 recently.
Okay.
She's a waifu. I watch Gara, and I don't really watch Saikuno. I somehow somewhat find myself in Kev Jumba Discord, so I guess I kind of watch Kev Jumba sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that would be my friend Potato, her stream, and then I guess Ray. But I will watch Arya the most. Oh, she's a waifu. She can cook, she can play games. That's material girl.
Alright, here we go. So, the final question.
Mhm.
So, with your connection, who would you like to see as a future guest on this podcast and why?
Ooh. Future? That's a lot. um, I think I would recommend. That's a lot. I don't know. This is hard. I think it would be Jichu's. Because my brother is very pogs and he's very easygoing. He's a very outgoing person, and I feel like you'll have a good time talking to him. Other than that, people that I know, right? If I know Arya, I would say Arya. I don't know who else. Maybe I don't know who else. I don't know. I honestly enjoy every single podcast that you have. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
It's
thank
all
you.
good
Yeah.
episodes.
Nice. Okay, so we're done with the questions. How are you feeling after, talking about your life?
To be honest, at first I was really nervous.
Uh-huh.
I was really nervous because it's been a while. Like I do talk about my life on stream, but when it comes to like get really personal and stuff like that, I was like, bro, am I ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Am I ready to expose myself? But like, yeah, it's actually not bad. It's definitely a vibe. I enjoy it. I'm not as nervous. Actually, like when you get too excited and then you get nervous, I think that's
Yeah.
what happens to me. Like I'm too excited for it that I get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And what's the plan after this?
Um, I was planning to go on a Discord call with the boyfriend.
Hmm.
Other than that, it's still lunchtime for me, so I might gonna go get some food.
Yeah.
Probably play some games. But yeah,
Sounds good. Still early on in the day for you.
that is very true.
Okay, so I'm gonna close this portion off for YouTube, and then I'll let you go do your thing.
Awesome. Thank you again for having
Of
me.
course. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Chang Gang Podcast episode 52 featuring Kez. Kez, thank you so much for talking about your life experiences and for sharing your stories with us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, the Chang Gang. Thank you, Wilson, again.
Of course, we're hitting almost 3 hours, which is pretty cool. Guys, if you haven't followed Kez already on Twitch, remember, exclamation guest command. Stay tuned for episode 53, which is coming soon. Sooner rather than later. This video will be on YouTube within the next few days. And do you have any last few words for everybody, Kez?
I hope everyone have a good day or good night and stay safe.
Alright, stay safe everyone. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out, Chang Gang.